Assume that that is true. So welcome back to We Play Games. I'm Walker, and here we are in Humankind with with a practice save file that I was working on before the stream, so that way I don't have to warm up beforehand. But this is gonna be basically our first playthrough on vanilla here on the channel in like a super duper long time. I've done some vanilla like off stream, just kind of like playing for myself. But Bruno, this is not gonna be the multiplayer stream as Crowhadilla mentioned. I'm assuming this is Crowhadilla. But multiplayer we're going to be aiming for Saturday games. In the event that we cannot get enough players together for full Saturday, then Croydilla and I are going to work together on like potentially maybe doing a video recording like different exploits that we're hoping that Amplitude can fix, because that's something where like we could stream that, but given that a lot of them require specific setups, it probably makes more sense for us to do off stream anyway. But this is just gonna be just like playing vanilla and talking through. I guess actually I'm gonna move where the chat box is, so that way it's in a slightly better location. Apparently this is not Alexi. Apparently Crowdilla was just doing Walker things and like using a pseudonym on an internet forum rather than using their own name. Although in my case it's less about like changing the name around so people don't know who I am, and more about that's the account name that I have for this thing. It's just the way it is. If you don't like it, then I don't know, like fight me in real life. But we're gonna do slightly different things in regards to our map generation, just to see how that impacts like the outcome here. I think that one of the things that Bruno handles really well in VIP is the fact that like having extra city cap is really powerful for the AI. It gives them lots of ways to help, you know, participate in the economy, participate in the game, especially because of not just the way that city cap has been reworked on VIP, but also because of the way that wonders and their influence cost has been reworked on VIP. But we're gonna play on vanilla, and we will see how it turns out. I don't know if I want to play with a new world or not. Yeah, whatever. We'll play with a new world because we've got 3 to 5. Oh, small crocodile, Croadilla. All right, sure. I can dig it. But we're gonna play on a larger map, just so that way there's like slightly more tiles for the AI to attempt to interact with. If we're gonna play with New World, nah, I guess we won't play with New World. New World is one of those things where like it's sort of like manual combats. You just end up, oh, hey, what's up, Eldrevo? So we're about to kick off a vanilla game here, and we've just been like talking through what we're doing in terms of setup and what we're gonna do in terms of game rules and like things that I'm going to do for myself. We're not gonna play with manual combats. Yeah, I agree, Eldrevo. I think that if you haven't watched any of my other content, my feel, yeah, Bruno, this is sort of like an MP training stream, sort of. I feel like ultimately it will be as much training as we can get out of Croadilla, like, you know, especially after the fact. One of the things that's really helpful is that he's watching my streams and will like tell me, oh yeah, you should be doing this thing instead, and that's great. So it's an MP training stream, but I think once we get to the mid and late game, you will realize that I need a lot of MP training because I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing in the mid game, because the game, I think the hate in regards to Humankind, Eldrevo, I think it has some complicated layers to it, because I think the game is really good. I think it has a lot of work to do, and I think unfortunately one of the biggest areas of improvement that it needs is just like an improvement in terms of communication with the player, because there's just like a lot of systems that do not work particularly well but can be fixed by just playing on VIP. So if you love like Humankind but think that it should just have a like basically the similar structure and form while being recognizably improved for the AI, and therefore like improved for the player, because you can do more things in different ways without being worried about like what the supremely perfect optimal play is, you just play on VIP. It's really fun. Yeah, Bruno, I'm sure would love to play on would love to play multiplayer, but has a human child now, so doing that is a little more complicated. So Eldrevo, I'll try to remember to post a link to the mod here down below. like later after the stream. But if not, then just check out I Just Want to Play Some Humankind, because I definitely linked it there. But it is a mod that like really, it tweaks like 10,000 different things. So like asking what does the VIP mod do apparently caused me to just like lose my mind, because I wrote a 300-page AAR sort of like indirectly detailing that. But it's a really good mod that I think adds a lot of great texture to the game. It's a balance mod sort of, but it's not what you would like normally attribute to being a balance mod, because it's not like balanced around necessarily competitive. What it's really balanced around is realigning what the AI is trying to do with the game's rules, and I think it does that task incredibly well. Like, it beat the crap out of me in the last VIP stream. I did not play well, so I do not think that I deserved to win that game, but like it fixes all of the mechanics to reflect not really like this is the competitively correct behavior, but this is a way to rebalance the Ludo narrative to be closer to what the game is trying to do. I think it's just great. Yeah, it's exactly, yes, it's everything. It's all of those things. It's really good. One of the other things that we're getting out of interacting with the multiplayer group is that like they turned me on to the fact that I was just like grotesquely incorrect in regards to my Bantu assessment, and so we did some Bantu streaming very recently, and I'm on the lookout basically for all of the time. They play VIP mode for 600 turns. I don't know about that. I would never want to play Humankind multiplayer on like any speed slower than fast. Like maybe you could do it for normal, but if you're doing it on normal speed, then you're probably going to want to do a bunch of manuals against the AI, because otherwise like a lot of your turns are going to be pretty inefficient. So like so far this doesn't really look like a bad start. We don't see any animals, and that's something that VIP mod I don't think can fix. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, Bruno, but I don't think that you have the tools necessary to adjust animal spawns and behaviors in a fashion that I would be happy with. Although that could be a Walker problem more than anything else. But I think animals are really good. They just need better distribution systems, and I think Sanctuaries are one of those distribution systems that, although you like the VIP mod does make it a little different in terms of how you're supposed to interact with them, the system itself remains, I think, complicated and fraught. Not like complicated as in difficult to understand, but complicated as in I don't think it works as well as it should, because it causes what should be the delta problem. So like this is going to be much more how to play Humankind than the last one, because I have air conditioning now, so I'm really, really happy. Yes, thank you, Bruno. Spawns, I'm sure you can in a way that would make me happy. Probably not. That is definitely that is almost certainly true. But like generically, I think that there are just like starts in Humankind that are not really playable, kind of no matter what you're doing, and that's unfortunate. I don't think this is going to be one of them. I think this very much looks like a start where if I'm paying attention and playing well, that I feel like we can do well. Because at least we're not getting completely hosed on food, but like we're not getting any animals, and I don't like that, because I think that's an important part of the game's economy and ecosystem. And so like what we're going to be kind of constantly on the lookout for, in addition to like how to play Humankind, I mean it's a limited mod tools problem, but it's also just like how do you fix Walker's behaviors? I don't know, like just give up on that. It's impossible. Just do what Eileen does and roll your eyes whenever he's being impossible. It will make your life and his life a lot easier. But yeah, limited mod tools. I don't know. Like that's kind of why I think that maybe we should go for this for the other city, because now there's a tile in between and there's a tile in between. Like, I'm not convinced we're definitely going to be Bantu, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4 AI have already picked their culture. This is another thing, Eldrevo, that like VIP mod fixes enormously. It's not that VIP mod is also the only mod that does this. That is, I want to be clear, I haven't played some of the other ones, and I do kind of feel like I need to. But I like the design structure and thesis of VIP. But Bruno has also adjusted like how many things you need for these stars, which will slow the AI down in the Neolithic and make it actually like accept that this is a part of human history and a part of the game. And please don't just skip through it. Please, AI, I'm begging you. And it sounds like we're going to get even stronger AI to brutalize Walker on stream in the very near to immediate future, because it sounds like Bruno is going to set up the AI to like behave even better during the Neolithic. If they have to take 2 stars, then they're going to screw themselves a lot less. So I'm excited for that. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So what we're doing here is strategic layer combat. If you haven't watched the I just want to play Humankind stream, that's fine. We're gonna revisit a lot of the same tools and like the different ways that I'm adapting to what I'm getting out of the game. But I've come down a lot on just chucking 1 unit into a mammoth. Sometimes you can get like good rolls in combat and it still works, but because of the way that movement rules work, I really do like just pinning them down. And then this sets us up with 2 pops here where we can probably kill the mammoth next turn. And although this is turn 4, we have found mammoths, so this does look like it is going to probably be a pretty solid start. I really cannot complain right now. I guess it's even sweeter because we do have silk. I don't know if that's like gonna break our early game because it's not dyes or the like the plus 50 production thing in Endless Space 2, whatever, Jadonics or whatever it's called. But it's still like anything you can get to make your snowball roll faster is better. So yeah, really all we're looking for now is probably influence. All right, where are you going, Mammoth? You're going out into the plain. So that means we won't be able to get the attack down bonus, assuming that there is an attack down bonus. I guess we could just take the influence here. It seems pretty important. We're like, the 20 food is nice, but the fact of the matter is that like if you can set up 2 cities, your life is going to be 10,000 times better. All right, so here's some stuff that I'm like almost certain about the Autoresolve. I'm almost certain that there is a random roll. I'm also almost certain that that random roll is pinned to like some sort of RNG seed that resets whenever you pick the next fight. So if you get a bad fight where you are losing 2 tribes into this, which it looks like, no, we got a good roll. But if we were losing 2 tribes into this, we would have to retreat if we're not doing manual battles. But then we would still have that bad roll kind of like floating, as far as I can tell. That's how it works. And so then you'd need to clear the roll by just like sacrificing a tribe. Some of these things are going to be wonky nonsense that really only are there for me to remind myself how I'm supposed to be playing the game. But if you want to learn how to auto-resolve, I'm trying to figure that out right now in very deliberate and excessive and grotesque science form. So this is not Walker doing his homework, I suppose. This is really more Walker showing you how he made vivisection, like for Let's Vivisect Age of Wonders 4, except sort of like long form stream style. And the way that you have to do it is by just paying better attention than I am usually typically capable of doing. That's really what it boils down to. I guess this also looks like a really good tile, to be entirely honest. Like, this is a ridiculous amount of production that we can get here. And if we are playing as Bantu, which it looks like, let's see, let's make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, everybody's taking the other ones. So it looks like we will have both Harappans and Bantu open. But I want to play Bantu because we've been practicing with them and have a good line on kind of like where I have been engaging in ridiculous and enormous spew, and can improve my game pretty meaningfully by just learning. That's all I'm doing. Just learn the game. But it looks like what we're going to probably want to do is set up a second city here, so that way it can have adjacencies here with this. I guess it's only 1 adjacency, but it means that we can do even more if we go I don't know. This is tricky, actually. This gets us way better adjacencies to share food with the other city, and this gets us a lot more production. Well, we can get production by just getting this and attaching it. I think I'm going to go for that. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for that. So we'll set up an outpost there, and then we'll be pretty much ready to flip, and then we'll just want to manage our population in the area so we can pull them back and do some quick board nuking, as I am wont to do, as I love to do. I'm going to take Bantu. I don't know if they're strongest or not, but like Croydilla, you've next leveled me, and I want to learn when they are appropriate to take and when they're inappropriate to take. And I think most of the time the way that I learn that the best is just by taking them when they're available, and I think the map is like appropriate for it, because I think that, at least as far as I can tell, it seems like they're balanced in such a way where they're like situationally broken, and that is a problem for me if that's true. But I don't know, right? I don't know if they're situationally broken until oh god damn it, did the bear die in that fight? Yeah, the bear died in that fight. I should have just run away. I should have checked the results before clicking instant. So, no, Phoenicians I don't think are strong. I think Phoenicians are a lot better on VIP, and they are something that like floats around a lot. I mean, you can put them next to each other, but I wanna try to do this. I mean, just to get like even more stacking. But I guess here, if we could do that, we would have that is an adjacency. That's an adjacency. I mean, maybe this wasn't the right city to found too. I don't know. We must learn through experimentation. We must learn through iteration. But because this is like also up here, I'm a lot more inclined to want to set this up, so that way we have easy access to this and this for expansion. I turned New World off. I go back and forth on it. I think it's fun, but I think it is one of those things that's like, I wouldn't necessarily call exploitative behavior, but it is problematic because the AI, if you just like get to the New World before the AI, then like just as the game is like pseudo over when you kill an AI very early, the game is like pseudo over if you get to the New World first. But like the Phoenicians, one of the reasons why I like to play on VIP is because they're just like way better on VIP, and so that is one of the reasons why we're going to be primarily streaming on that, is just so that way we can show what they can do. I'm not playing with New World. I'm not. Or at least I'm not intentionally. I tried to turn it off. I tried to consider it out loud and then decline it. If I failed on that, then that was not intentional. There have been streams and like videos where I have had a setup that I intended to use and then fobbed the execution of that object. That's gonna be part of all these streams. I think they are all gonna be relatively messy, but that's how you learn, or it's how I learn. But we're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna just hold this mammoth in place. We're not gonna attack here. We want to make sure that it doesn't run anywhere, so we pull people in to fight them. Yeah, in multiplayer you play either Pangea or everyone having their own continent. That makes sense. So that way you're not just like that way you can either fight immediately or not worry about it. The only direct VIP change that nerfs Phoenicians, so I can tell, I know there's some changes that have buffed Phoenicians pretty considerably because of the things like you can build the emblematic quarter without fishing, and the fact that like the way that whipping interacts with their pop bonuses. But I don't know how it nerfs Phoenicians, Bruno. Give us your knowledge. Teach the world. I think it looks like turn 7. We might even be able to flip at the end of this turn, depending on how our mammoths turn out. I feel like as long as we have enough influence to do things, then I'll be pretty happy. And it looks like we'll probably have enough influence to do things, so I'm probably gonna be pretty happy. Can you get over there? No, you can't get over there. Oh, but you can get over here. All right, whatever. That's probably good enough. This is ritualistic behavior in regards to Autoresolve, because we don't actually know if there's a bonus for like or a penalty for standing on the river or not, but it feels like there is, so we're going to like just assume that is true and work with it. And then hopefully we get better UI at some point in the universe. We're gonna take folklore there. I think I've played around with stone weapons enough to get a feel for, like, definitely they're ridiculous whenever you're trying to kill somebody with Babylonians early. That was part of what made postmortem just like fun and interesting to me. So VIP's Byreme is weaker than vanilla Byreme. A lot of indirect changes in VIP end up making Phoenicians feel much better. Yeah, that's why, again, I've played Phoenicians once on VIP and was astounded by them. So that is one of the things that kind of like sold me on VIP, was that truth. Can we get? Oh, god damn it, we're one away from that. Okay, well, this is at least 4 pops. So they can set up a thing here. I guess we'll probably aim for somewhere over here, considering that we're not going to be able to get to that tile. So yeah, maybe we just found on this spot, honestly, and then maybe we just move. Yeah, that seems like what we're probably going to do, but I think we're going to be able to flip to Bantu this turn, so I'm going to go ahead and lock that in before I forget, because one of the other things that I did during the, like, warm-up practice before starting the stream was just, like, practice remembering to click through to the next era, and it was difficult. It was difficult. Talking the entire time and not paying attention to what I'm doing causes me to make mistakes on an outrageous level. It gives me also plenty of information to learn off of, and I think that's useful. Okay, so we can go here and here, and then I guess we can pull some of you back to grab this tile too. Yeah, let's pull some of you guys back so we can grab this tile in here, and then this 3 isn't really set up to necessarily grab anything here, but we want to maybe also have some scouts to like go out and find some people to put tiles next to, because that's also very powerful for Bantu. Just getting extra influence from everything makes your early economy function 10,000 times better. And let's see, what is the AI up to? So far the AI is up to Era 1 stuff. So this is why I like VIP immediately, because by rushing through to the Ancient Era on turn 2, not only do you miss out on the Era in Our Stars like catch-up event on turn 5 on fast, it also is just bad for you mechanically if you leave the Neolithic era too early. Like, really bad for you mechanically if you leave the Neolithic too early. I don't think it's even a question of, like, exploiting the systems the way that Spiff likes to, you know, frame it sometimes. It's an era. Play the era.
Humankind learns quickly that everyone contributes. If you're terrified of wild animals, you can grow lentils or catch fish. Tribes settle towns. Towns develop markets, and markets begin the exchange.
Is the audio coming through for you guys on the stream?
Rumors and
I don't know why it wasn't coming through on Bantu Madness. I went back and watched it, and I still could not tell you what the heck happened to the audio in that stream. It disappeared. It did disappear. Where it went, we will never know. Alright, so here we go. Bantu Madness. What are we doing? Well, the first thing we're going to do is, just like the setup here, is we are going to make 2 different cities. I like getting 2 cities for basically everybody. That's just generically good. But then we're going to start doing some stuff that's pretty different. Oh, I'm aware that you can skip the era intro, but sometimes we're going to watch them. I think the era intros are, like, useful for establishing the Ludo narrative that Amplitude is trying to communicate to the player. So like that's kind of like where I think the game should be balanced, where the mechanics produce the narrative that the game tells you that it wants you to pay attention to. And so if the video tells you go out and massacre your enemies like the classical one does, then if you've balanced the mod or, you know, the game to not do that, then I'm gonna write you an angry email. Like, at some point I'm going to have to write Victoria 3 an angry email about their infamy scaling and the way that they're treating warfare in the 19th century. Oh yeah, in multiplayer we're definitely skipping them. In multiplayer, if I can find the settings for fast movement, we'll make our units move fast too. Like I'm not doing that in multiplayer because it's disrespectful to the other players' times. But this is a single player experience, and that means I get to be as disrespectful to your time as you want. I guess we'll keep this guy nominally alive. He does have some amount of experience points. Not that that really matters super duper much for these guys, but it's good to at least be aware of. So that's one. Let's set up, I guess, here. Can we get 4 guys down to there? No, we can get 4 guys to here, which is a kind of an awkward spot, but we're gonna have probably enough influence pretty quickly that I don't think it matters if some of these spots are a little awkward. We're not gonna attach them immediately anyway, so we can shuffle them. So this will go with main plaza for sure. Okay, well, I guess I will ask for your advice, Crowdilla, in regards to what I should be trying to set up for the multiplayer thing, because I want my settings to be respectful to your time, and if that requires that I play with like, you know, not watching intros, that is, I was planning on doing that anyway. I don't normally watch intros all the time anyway. I just think that it's good for like early communication in regards to what I think the game is trying to do. I think it's useful. If that makes sense as a philosophical position. I want to know what the game is doing, so that way I can try to interpret that for the masses at large. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Let's see. I guess we're just gonna keep exploring and looking for stuff to interact with our Begindy Pioneers, and kind of like, this is like why I like VIP mod as well, because in VIP Bruno has like rebalanced the relative power of food in such a way where getting farmers is great. I don't know if that's true with Bantu or not. I'm gonna have to experiment there, but getting farmers in vanilla is usually not very good, and especially so if you have like other sources of getting food, which hopefully we will pretty soon off of these guys. Yeah, I think we should be able to get some extra food onto the board pretty quickly. But like, you want to, it's not that food is like inherently a waste because of the guns butter problem in Humankind being so interesting and complicated. Like, you really can't neglect food, but you want to minimize your inputs in regards to food. And if the input cost for getting your food fixed in the early game, playing as Bantu, is just play as Bantu and you don't have to do any of the other stuff, then like, you've really minimized your costs on food collection, and that's pretty good. I like minimizing my costs in regards to things that I do not want to spend a lot of resources on. I guess we'll take carpentry here, and then try to remember to build a lumber mill before doing a bunch of chopping when we're playing VIP. I don't know if we're gonna have enough to really justify using masonry early or not. That I think might end up being a function of how much influence we end up getting. And maybe we want to make one more pioneer here so we can make this next turn. So yeah, let's do that too. Let's make one more pioneer there, and then we have like a bunch of guys who might be able to collect here. Is that correct? Oh no, 1 turn off. God damn it, Walker. You can count these things before spending your influence. I know you won't, but you can do it. Alright, let's click end turn. Calendar researched. So here, if we had, like, I think a compelling reason to want to build domestication, like, I still want to play around with Assyrians on VIP, because they sound like they're going to be a lot of fun. But I don't know if we really have anything super valuable to build here instead of just maker's quarters initially. And this will be a ridiculous lumberyard too, but it's going to be pretty expensive in comparison to a maker's quarter. And we have plenty of stability here anyway. So yeah, let's buy out that pottery workshop. This is 26. I don't remember how this will scale up but I don't think it matters. But this is something where I don't know if the game can tell you this right now, but this will increase in cost after this one has been completed. That seems like an issue where the game should be able to interpret what the player is currently doing and then just sort of like readjust values to talk to them a little better, right? Like, I think these should increase in costs. I think they absolutely should. I think people who do not want them to increase in costs are misevaluating the way that the game's economy works. But if this just told me how much it would cost after this, it would communicate 10,000 times better. Oh, okay, all right. You think that this was just like too greedy out there, Croadilla, for multiplayer? That like this would just be like way more defensible? I could see that too. I absolutely could see that too. Also, did not spend influence to like move the city center here. Instead, I spent it on building a unit who could not get to the settling location on the turn that I wanted to get to the settling location. I'm sure are going to be plenty of cases like that. So keep me honest, keep me informed in terms of things that I can do to at least survive into the medieval in our multiplayer games. Let me learn from you killing me with crossbows. That's what, or with longbows. That's what I want to see. Apparently that's another one of them where like my limited experience with the game resulted in just grotesque misevaluations. I don't know how much people are getting out of the economy side of English, but it really does sound like longbows are absurd. So I want to try to survive until you have to kill me with those, so that way I know what they do. That is my personal goal for our multiplayer games. Oh no, wait, come back. Just why I moved you because you had a movement point, but all of you guys are settling over here. That's what we're doing. We could pick up city defense if we had somebody to go walk towards. I'm a little bummed that we don't have anybody to walk towards, because I do think we like need some extra influence, and being able to found locations near the other players is a way to get influence. But for now, I'm going to take writing because we just don't really have anything that we need to be building high priority other than Maker's Quarters at the moment. And then you know, hopefully we'll get another pop in a couple of turns once this is done. Another pop, I guess, next turn, so that we should be able to get the writing done in 2 turns on turn 11 rather than turn 12. I think. I hope. And hopefully we can find an AI to use the expansionist button on, because one of the things that I also noticed was that the expansionist thing that you were trying to tell me about, Bruno, there was definitely a case where I could have used the expansionist button on like turn 12 or 13 or whatever to take the bunga range or whatever it was, bundle range. I could have done that. But did not do so, and I think that in retrospect it definitely would have been correct to attempt to, because it wasn't attached at that point, and I had enough Big Pioneers to chase the AI off, so I could have chased them off of the tile and then probably just ransacked it and then taken it. Maybe I didn't even need to ransack, I don't know, but like definitely could have done something with that rather than not something with that. So 11 and 4, and this would get us actually like a lot closer to the production out here. And 10 and 6. Yeah, let's go with 10 and 6 actually. Oh, hey, cool. Found a discovery. Don't mind if I do. Yeah, that looks pretty good. We don't have any calendar stuff to set up yet, do we? We could set up here on this incense if we had vision on it, I think. So maybe we pull you back. Pretty sure that's the rate limiting step there, why we can't build it. Wait, do we not have calendar? No, we have to have calendar. We're working on research, on writing. Oh, we don't have this tile, Walker. that's why you can't build it. That's not yours. So no, we don't have any calendar stuff to pick up. Means that we have fairly limited outlets for our current influence, but we can check our civs before we click end turn. I think that's important. No, that was another, like, just so good. So many great opportunities to learn by rewatching my own content. Not as a form of navel gazing, but as a form of pedagogy. And there were like 400 turns in that game where I was just like clicking through with enough influence to do stuff and did not do stuff. All right, we're not doing either of these right now because in the event that we find an AI, I'm going to attempt. Yeah. Oh, hey. In the event that we find an AI, I'm going to attempt. Looks like maybe we'll do Bunda, or maybe we'll set up here and then we'll go there. But we're going to, if we can get close enough to this AI, then we'll attempt to use Swords Rush, and if not, then we won't attack them. Because I think that one of the most important things about the timing attack problem that I like failed on the VIP stream was that if you're gonna do that, build warriors and upgrade them rather than just raw building a bunch of swords. It's way better for you. All right, yes, let's get the emblematic district bonus here with faith. So that was another cool thing that Croydilla tossed down to me, is that we were not getting enough faith off of our early build here playing as Bantu. And one of the really big strengths is if we can start just using all of the pops that we were going to have naturally to just rush through to abstain from intoxicants. And getting infinity religion is a really easy way to help ensure that. Right, so in 2 turns we will get that. I guess we could maybe flip for 1 turn, and then we'll have 2 science guys to flip back, unless that shaves. No, it doesn't shave a turn to do that. Does it lose a turn to do this? I guess it doesn't really matter. We'll be okay there. And then I guess we'll decide if it makes sense for us to make any more pioneers. Because another thing that Croydilla told me is that we probably definitely wanted a 3rd city coming out of all of the influence that we were getting, because upgrading to 255, that's pretty reasonable. I don't like building the 4th or more with influence unless you have to. It just is a lot cheaper to just take it at that point. But making your 3rd city is not very difficult. And it is something that I think I should be doing more. Definitely something it feels like I should be doing more. All right, we will make some pioneers here, so that way we can try to take advantage of this high quality terrain around Macumba. I don't know if we're gonna make enough to settle twice. I kind of hope I don't have to, but we're gonna make a little more, just a little more. So go down here. Hopefully we get, yep, a little more influence. Always happy to see it. Maybe we'll even send you up north to help chop some stuff out, because we're going to have the ability to. If we can found this like around this 5, and then also have this to chop to send into Macumba, then that'll be a pretty solid city, I think. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, let's find some more mammoths to hunt. I know that's unreasonable now that everyone has technology, but let's believe in the version of me that believes in the version of you that believes in the moral mission of Gurren Lagann. That's what this stream is really about. All of these streams are really just about Gurren Lagann. That's really what it boils down to. There are 2 spirits when it comes to a 4X player. There is the Gurren Lagann like aspirational spiral, and then there is also the Tetsuo blob spiral, and both of those speak to me on incredible levels. I love both of those. All right, leadership here, given our pace, we're definitely taking Autarch, and then maybe we'll switch back to doing this a little bit later, because I do generally like the Liberty axis like way more than the Order axis, like not even remotely close. I don't know if this is supposed to be balanced or not. Like, is Order supposed to be Liberty is good and Authority is bad? That is an ideological standpoint to build into a game. It's not one I necessarily disagree with, but those are not balanced with each other at all. And I wonder why. I guess we have enough to move, drop, and then we'll have an extra turn off to move and go here, and it only costs us 7 influence to do that if we're going to do it anyway. Oh, no, but we only have 1 pop to drop, so no, we cannot do that. I guess then we'd have to spawn out of Enaf, and then we go here, and then if we do 1, 2, 3, 4, can you get to there? You can get to there. Okay, cool. Yeah, that seems like what we're gonna do. So we'll go here. That's actually shorter, right? No, that's a cliff face. No, that's not a cliff face, right? No, that's not a cliff face. So yes, this is a safe tile to go to. We'll go here, we'll go 1, 2, and then we'll move Elnath back probably next turn, but now we have another 2 to go out here and grab this tile. And I think that'll be good. Looks all right.
An enormous leap forward.
We figured out how to write, everybody. We did it. I don't have to know how to read now, though, because we got the points, so I don't have to read. Those are the rules. One of the systems of rules that Eileen and I behave by is if one of us says it, then the other one has to do it, because we did the hard work of like coming up with the idea, so the other one has to come up with the hard work of the execution. Let's go here, and I guess we could roll to see if this is... Oh, wait. Which one has movement points? One of these should have movement points, but maybe the game disagrees with me. No, there it is. There's the one with movement points. Let's go here. Hey, cool. Yep, let's grab that. And then we could move here. And here. Alright, that's probably enough wasted influence on moving things. Let's start working on saving up for our 3rd city. 3rd city might be here, honestly. Not actually sure where it would make the most sense, but it probably is somewhere over here. I should have run the child out, not the parent. Supposed to... Oh, yeah, I should have had the child continue the exploration because I had the 4 movement points rather than the 2 here. But that's okay. Let's go exploration over here and see what's up in that direction. I'd be surprised if it's another player, because with 3 to 5 continents, it'd be pretty unlikely to have a 3rd player here on this continent with us. But hopefully, because it's a larger map, it's our early game conflict is a little more avoidable. Let's find out. Let's find out. So we truly have, like, pretty much fixed our growth problem internally. We could just get production from here on out. This is still a very good deal. We'll make another maker's quarter, and then I guess we'll make a lumberyard after that, honestly. We should pick up city defense just to keep us honest, so that way we're not scrambling and trying to get warriors. I'm gonna just force myself to start taking city defense like a little earlier than I feel like is probably optimal in single player, just so that way I'm not cheating when it gets to multiplayer, and I'm trying to break free from bad habits of like having no defensive technologies. I don't see any horses here for domestication though. There's 5. All right, yeah, there's 5. We'll need to come up with a plan for acquiring those guys too, but that might be something we acquire with non-Burgundy pioneers when we're done here. There's no water up here for Macumba. All of your food is this stuff, so feeding Macumba is going to be complicated once our bonus goes away. I guess we'll just take domestication anyway. For now, it's cheap, and I don't think we really have enough pops to be concerned with forced labor, but we might be able to put some harbors down during this era. If we put some harbors down here and then flip into some water dudes like Carthaginians or whatever, then we should be able to get some pretty nice value out of those 2. These 2 are missing, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But like broadly speaking, I do like, rather than having a strict strategy of like revolving around optimizing the broken pieces. I'd rather learn the fundamentals and then figure out why the broken pieces are broken, so that way they can hopefully get fixed either in vanilla or in VIP. I don't really care. Either one is fine. I will play it either way. We are now in the phase of Walker and his unreasonableness, where I've delayed the creation of humankind content long enough that it has caused problems for, I'm sure, at least one person. So now I'm gonna make so much that it'll cause problems for probably that same person again. Oh no, go back. All right, whatever. Yeah, you can go over there next turn, Walker. It doesn't matter. You're just now you're not cheating anymore. Now you're just behaving like an AI, which is all you've ever really wanted to do, right? That's what you said you wanted to do. Okay, so there's a scout. We could attempt to fight the scout if we were willing to flip into professional soldiers this turn. And we do have the influence. Yeah, you know what? Let's take professional soldiers. I don't know if the AI has a bonus on their military strength in Autoresolves. They might not. But we have a higher combat power, so I'm willing to risk this. Looks like whatever is going on here, the professional soldiers were not enough. So we will be forced to retreat. We might need a second one, or we might need to just clear a bad fight because of what I perceive as being the way that the RNG seed works in regards to combat. I think that we can reset it by fighting somewhere else on the board. Now we're starting to enter into the grotesque detail of, like, Walker, no one is supposed to know these things. These are supposed to be buried deep in the code and only visible to people who dig around in mod tools. Why are you trying to discover these things? Go away. But that is my vibe. That is my vibe. I want to discover the things that we're not supposed to know. Okay, religious rights. We're not doing a religious district yet, but that's another option potentially for fixing our food in the classical era if we don't come up with a better solution for Macumba. We played with Celts pretty recently, and I don't know if I consider them meta or anything like that, but I was pleasantly surprised by what they did for our economy. Although at that point our economy was an unreasonably gigantic army is where we were at that point in the game, so we kind of like had to do something to fix it or we were gonna die. All right, well, so far this looks all right. So far this looks pretty good. Do I want anything else here? We will want codified laws, but that would just cost us faith on territory right now, and we're trying to get a bunch of faith so that way we can use our pops to get us through abstain as quickly as possible. So we'll do that later. We'll do that once we get abstain. I mean, I want to, Bruno. I just, like, I'm not gonna do that until I feel like we're getting anything out of it. Like, if we enacted personal rights, we would be sacrificing 5 stability for 5% money. And it would cost 24 influence, and then also cost all of the other make all the other things go up in terms of influence cost. And most importantly, it would make it more expensive for you to cancel and then flip into a different thing. Like, as you get more stuff, as far as I can tell, as you get way more things in here in the civics tree, these cancel costs go up a lot. And I like canceling laws. This is really what it boils down to. I like having laws that are not fixed. Because I don't think that describes human history particularly well, and I love soft power. I'm not gonna make every stream have a Walker like fanboys about influence, because I'm sure at some point that content will be even boring for me to watch. But I do love influence, and I do love soft power, and I don't know, fight me in real life, I guess. Okay, so we could hold the river. And now we've lost the opportunity to grab this because it's attached. Like, we could still try to grab it, but it would take 5 turns. And I do not want to be Bantu in 5 turns. I want to be done with Bantu in 5 turns. So I guess we're going to just not be able to use the expansion as star this time. That's okay. It's not gonna break my heart. guess this could actually still be a couple of really solid tiles here. But if we are trying to found another city, I guess we want one more tile here to do it with. So we could make a bunch of Big Endy Pioneer here, move in, settle, and then just be on turbo influence basically until the end of the ancient era. That looks pretty good, honestly. The only other city that I might consider might be this one, because this does have geysers here, honestly. That looks pretty good too. Both of those do look pretty solid. And this one has a little more food to grow pops off of, so maybe I'll do this. It'll cost us 16 extra if we move it around. So Lake Natron is food per farmers. And something with science that I can't read because of where I placed my see-through chat text box. One second. Lake Natron is Bruno. It says +5 city science on city or outpost, so that is actually really strong too. It might be worth just using Tupui for rather than going out here, because we could still turn this into a city too, rather than attaching stuff. Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Let's make this into a city. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll use these guys to move in here, settle something. +2 on food on farmers, I don't think is particularly important, but that's okay, because not everything has to be supremely important for the larger object to be useful. Only downside is that now Tupui can't go back to this tile because it doesn't see it. So we might be forced to make another pioneer here just to get vision down to that tile. It's kind of annoying, but it might be correct to do. Unless we get you to go back. Yeah, we can just go back. That's okay. Alright, so let's see. Oh, +5 for each square of the coast? That's ridiculous, Croydilla. Bruno, have you rebalanced any of the natural wonders in VIP? Like, anything that you've dramatically changed around? I think we could do more production here, right? I mean, we could potentially start picking up a food, but I think if we are going to just flop into Celts, then I don't think we need it. Could also grab scribes. I don't even hate that either. This is at 80 production. We're getting 20, 73. So we'll make this in one turn. So we'll do that, and then we'll be able to overflow a little bit into a House of Scribes, and I think that should be enough for early game jobs there. I guess we could take Organized Warfare here, but we are on the river, so we'll see what irrigation will offer us. I don't think you, like, even as Bantu, if you can build an irrigation for 100 production that makes a gazillion food, I think it's probably still worth it, just because of, especially now on Dante, because of the jazz. Yeah. Oh crap, you're right. We should build an embassy here. Yeah, no, you're right. We should build an embassy there. All right. I think the surplus, does it disappear if I delete this? Looks like it might disappear if I delete that. But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I have built embassies before, but that time I was not thinking about it. Embassies getting extra influence is just like ridiculously powerful early, and I probably should pick up some envoys, honestly, once that comes down. Envoys are pretty good. They get you points, and that means you can get progress because you can leave faster. All right. Good, we got irrigation. So which order we want to handle all of the different steps of your turn is also kind of complicated in A4X. I think generally I would recommend doing things that are random first, so that way you know what's going on in terms of what your actual incomes will look like. Because if you do the like predictable steps of your economy as like the first part and then do the random things, you won't be able to adjust to what your random things tell you. So like Yeah, well, I think this is fine. This was the same amount of fins as here. And although this isn't like a busted tile, I don't care. I don't think it's gonna hurt. Yeah, you can go back and watch Crodilla. I have built embassies correctly most of the time, but thank you for keeping me honest, because I will forget things. This game, it's supposed to be, I think, very chill and relaxed, and I think in many ways it is, but it is also like ridiculously complicated, because there are just so many different mechanics going on in the game at every point in time. And I think that is a big strength of the game, to be honest, that it is at once something that is supposed to be designed in mind with being accessible to new players, while also being just like a monstrosity of cool game design for people who want monstrosities of cool game design. But the problem is that I don't think it does a particularly good job in terms of UI and onboarding new players. And I think honestly that's why I want to do VIP stuff, because I think the game is just balanced in a way where the behaviors that players have been trained to do by the game's systems are just a lot more correct, and do not involve players getting tricked nearly as often. And I think that's not hard to understand how that could cause some people to be frustrated. Like if the game is, I think you can create system. I think actually you should create systems where like there's complexity to it and layers, right? Where like it's not that the game is lying to you, the game is just revealing complexities to you along the way. I think that's really cool. Oh crap. I put a farmer there to make a dude 3 turns ago and then forgot to move it off. Well, oops. But like I think adding complexities is actually like good, and I think it's fun and gives people reasons to want to come back and learn and experience what the game has to offer over and over and over again. But I think the complexity has to be done in a way where people don't feel like the game has been tricking them, but just that the game has more to offer than what the literal narrative is telling you, and so it sets you up with good fundamentals and then kind of just like says, okay, now go off into space and explore on your own. I think that's where a good 4X tutorial should be 99% of the time. I think it communicates a lot better that way. All right, well, this one we're going to attach to Macumba. So I guess we will relocate here next turn when this guy goes here, which means we're going to have a buttload of rocky terrain to exploit. So we'll set up a stoneworks there, and then once that's set up, we can chop a couple of things out. We're at 58, so that's going to be not enough to get to third city next turn, or in 2 turns anyway. So I think we can build one more chopper here for Macumba. And I guess we'll make a wheel, and then we'll probably need to start on organized warfare after that, just so that way we're again, like, at least somewhat reasonable military footing and not getting, like, bulldozed by the AI player, the fake AI player out there. The role-playing element of what we were doing here, or pretending that we were practicing for multiplayer. Yeah, I like this spot more. It just exploits more tiles, and then we'll like leverage this a little bit better in terms of real outcomes. So actually, if we attach, we'll still get there. Yeah, this will be fine. So legitimacy, let's take attach output cost. We'll take codified laws. I think most of the time I do like starting with customary and then flipping over to codified, but I don't think you always have to, and I think that this feels like something where I don't feel like I have to. So we will attach you. We will go here, and I guess we can't reach either of those this turn, but we can reach that. Do a little bit of chopping. We're not going to chop down anything that's like near any exploitation that's currently going on, but considering that we're going to get some amount of production here like, if in relatively short order, I think we'll be all right. Yeah, and it looks like turn 18 we should be able to make this. And then if we're doing that, does it make sense to delay here? Because we can get Builder Star pretty cleanly, and we should be able to get Agrarian Star pretty quickly too. So this is not a 2700 on turn 16, but we're trying to actually like play a full game rather than just see what sort of hilarious nonsense Bantu can be up to. So we're probably going to have like more like the fourth run that we did in the Bantu Madness stream is my guess. But I think that fourth stream was honestly the one where I ended up learning the most. Anyway. Alright, looks like we are alone on an enormous continent with one other player, which is going to have its own sorts of baggage in regards to data, but that's okay too. Like, the way that this works is you gotta collect as much data as possible on as many different forms as possible. Looks like probably we're not going down there. I'd be confused if there was food down here for some reason. This looks like a frozen hellscape. Yeah, it is indeed a frozen hellscape. Yeah, you go back. I guess we will be looking for maybe like a turn 18 or something like that, probably, is my guess. Yeah, I think we'll grab the extra city on turn 18 and then we'll flip, and then that feels like it should be pretty good for what we're doing here. 6 food is alright. Not really what I was hoping to be getting at this point, but not the end of the world either. I think I might just want to make some more Maker's Quarters, though. Especially because this... Well, no, I guess these are really equivalent, honestly. Yeah, they're pretty equivalent. We'll make that Maker's Quarter first, though. And then we'll take Warfare. So 2 turns. Is there anything we want to buy out? We cannot buy that out, and we cannot buy that out. So one of the other things that's like generically true in regards to 4Xs is that you, most of the time, if you want to do buy rushing on a colony or, you know, a planet or whatever, you mostly are going to get better results out of buy rushing things immediately, like to start the growth on that city. But you typically do not have the economy necessary to buy rush tons of stuff there. That is not true in Endless Space 2, and that's one of the things that I love about that game, is that you can buy rush like psychotic amounts of things in that game, and it feels good and plays well that way. But don't feel compelled to do that in every 4X that exists. They're all different. They all do different things. I guess we could take a little bit of cash, but this is really empty in terms of resources, honestly. Like, ridiculously empty in terms of resources. Our stability is gonna be a problem now that I'm looking at this. We're gonna need to use a dude to go out here to found that, probably with influence, but holy smokes, we might have to conquer Assyria just so that way our people won't go into like full-on riot mode. Okay, so let's go here, do a little bit more chopping. This is also another thing with UI where, like, I kind of wish that I could mouse over this and it would tell me which pre-queued movements I'm going to commit to. I could also just remember which ones they are, but again, from a usability standpoint, just anything that communicates safer with the player I think is good. And so yeah, we'll set that up for 2 and see what's going on out here. Yeah, looks like one more turn we will be able to turn this, I guess, into a city. Doesn't have any adjacencies, but given that we're going to be flipping out of Bantu anyway, I think that's okay. Maybe we actually use the 4 pops to do this first, and then we can flip, and we'll have even more tiles to pick up. This is where the good tiles are, though. So if we're going to take a tile, although this would be like a ridiculous amount of production, it would basically only be a ridiculous amount of production, whereas this gets us closer to there. But we can't do 4 Big Pioneers out of that and maintain pace on turning that into a city. I don't know. It's complicated. It's an interesting game. It's what I like about it. It's got a lot of really cool and interesting things going on. Okay, so Proxima Centauri looks like purple is definitely setting itself up for some sort of skirmish battle along the border. 22. Oh, this would lose a pop if we don't attach it, though. Okay, all right. That's losing a pop if we don't attach it. That's usually a pretty good breakpoint for me in terms of if I want to attach the thing or not. We also have a million extra stability here, so I'm not super worried about just getting a bunch of extra stability penalties. And we can even do a House of Scribes to give some of these scientists like a little more support. Okay, so we will have to shuffle some people around for optimal starvation, but that's all right. We can do this, and then we'll get a House of Scribes. And I think that looks pretty decent here. We've got that done. Are we gonna get Agrarian Stars next turn? We're not growing. You're not growing. I don't think we're gonna take that tile. So maybe not. Maybe we won't get the 3rd Agrarian Star, at which point it might even make sense for us to flip like right now. Or should we wait one more turn? Now let's wait one more turn. Let's see what we get out of this, out of all this stuff. Hopefully we get enough. Yes, we'll get enough influence that I could have done other things with the influence earlier and did not do so. Good, perfect. Just how we drew it up. If you start, Bruno, if you start a an expansionist thing and then you flip into a different expansionist culture, do you continue your expansionist absorption or does it break? Because I honestly do not remember. I think I've clicked the expansionist button like maybe 4 times for value in my entire life. I mostly just take Persians because they're good and then don't do anything with them other than just have more cities, because the AI typically does not require that I do anything other than just have more cities. Having that as a good understanding is usually pretty powerful when it comes to playing 4Xs, but again, because of the way that VIP rebalances things, it's not a fixed proposition. There are ways to fix that problem and allow playing tall to feel like it's still part of the game. Oh, we could take bronze working if we want more builder tiles. Are we anywhere near that? No, we're nowhere near that. I don't think we're gonna get that in a reasonable time frame anyway. Yeah, we'll take the bronze. We'll queue up sailing, and then I guess we'll grab this as a city and then flip. We could start by making a couple of envoys, though. I wouldn't hate getting a couple little spoodly doodlies out onto the board to get even more culture and influence. Can we get 2 of them? No, we can only get 1 per turn. And this is low enough on stability that if we're going to do anything here, we're going to either have to build a public fountain or a wonder. But I wanna make 3 cities. It's pretty good to do that. We will do this because these guys are not able to feed themselves without outposts near them, so they are going to need a little bit of support. And we're going to need to make some more land near here to make sure that these guys keep going. But here, at least the food bonus is doing something for Lake Natron. It's keeping those guys alive. Yeah, let's scout around. Let's see what we're looking at. Okay, good. Even more little territories to interact with. Never a bad thing. Oh, right, we're gonna get chopping into Macumba, so we actually might be able to do that. It's okay. We'll send this pioneer up here to chop this out, and we should be able to get looks like abstain probably next turn. So with abstain next turn, the Celts should actually be pretty decent because of this being a religious district. So we'll get the +2 production off of that, as well as the bonuses in terms of like being able to switch into not procession, the thing that is good. Yeah, alright, whatever. I'm gonna play the Celts again. Like, we're not gonna exclusively play Celts on vanilla, because there are definitely like better cultures overall, I'm sure. But I like being challenged by the changes in Dante patch to like assess things differently.
At a record pace. Arts and sciences flourish as military tactics and mathematical equations become as coveted as physical goods. Empires struggle to control these intangibles.
I bet they do.
As some might trouble their stability.
Hell yeah. That is my motto. Trouble your stability. Trouble your stability.exe. Alright, so now we got a billion Big pioneers, but now they won't have any pickups anymore, is my understanding, so we can use them to just like go back home and get real jobs. But we have 3 cities, and that's pretty good. And we do have enough pioneers that we could still use them to nuke something. Okay, yeah, I mean, like, I'll tell you, the Croydilla, the AAR that I did was basically exactly that, the postmortem. Like, I just played where I took, on Bruno's advice, I actually took Babylonians as the first culture, because I basically had never played them before. Like, I played them a little bit in what was supposed to be, like, 2 concurrent playthroughs of vanilla versus VIP at the same time, but I found that was so complicated that even my brain couldn't understand it. But I really didn't know what Babylonians were supposed to do, and so Bruno convinced me to just like play around with them a little bit and have some fun. And I think that they are exactly that. Like they were super fun. I got to make a bunch of units and then immediately rush people with swords and then flip in with Celts, because I was actually like already in the rush part. It was probably a little less efficient that I did it that way, because I didn't get a bunch of Geisati. I got a bunch of swordsmen and then got Geisati unlocked, and then they didn't actually like flip into Geisati. They were just swordsmen as Celts. It was very silly. But it was a lot of fun. And I will say that like I'm okay with different balancing positions in regards to like one patch to the next. I'm not fundamentally opposed to the fact that there's food upkeep on the Dante patch. I just think that if you're going to do that, you have to be careful, because on VIP it doesn't make a gigantic difference, I don't think, because like food is just like way more plentiful and the game's rules are just a lot more favorable to the AI. But on vanilla, if I'm careful and not an idiot in the early game, I feel like we will win and then be able to do an analysis on the charts, and you'll see very clearly that the vanilla experience for the AI, I think, is really bad right now, because it just builds a bunch of units and then like all of its food growth goes to that, and then ends up with like literal size 7 capitals on like turn 60. And not because they're in a war, it's just because like they just built some units and they're not using them to do stuff, and then all of their growth is going towards that. And that's a frustrating experience to me, because it means that some number of non-zero new players are suffering like the exact same experience at home. And that's also true on the Reddit. I think they're probably going to end up being fewer people like that, just because of how old and wonky Humankind is. But there are going to be some number of players who are going to get torn apart by the Dante patch, and that's unfortunate because I don't think they need to be. I think this game is fun, and I think that it should be balanced around being fun. And verisimilitude is an important part of fun, I think. I think it is impossible for me to want to not have a game that communicates well with the players. But it needs to be careful as to how it does that. Can we starve? No. We'll just go like this. Hey, you said it was at 0. Why did you lie to me? Game, why did you lie to me? You said we weren't starving to death, you jerk. Whatever. We lost 12 science because of this game, the game's UI describing incorrect information to us. However, will we recover? Let's see. All right, so we'll build that. I guess we could build maybe a warrior to like go out here and start grabbing a couple of tiles. If we end up just like fighting free cities before we fight purple, we might do that too. Because that's also pretty good. Fighting free cities is another one of those things where I don't know exactly if I like Bruno's math or not. Because again, I like warfare in Humankind. I think it's very good, and I think it's very important for warfare to be good. But I do also think generically the fact that you can just like get effectively infinity scaling and growth by just eating free cities cannot possibly be working as intended. That just can't be. That cannot be how the game is supposed to work. Because this is not a Chainsaw Massacre 4X, or at least it's not supposed to be a Chainsaw Massacre 4X. Yeah, we'll take religious district costs now. We're gonna be building some stuff that are religious districts anyway, so we might as well do what it says on the box. And we're gonna lose a couple of pops at least, but probably only a couple. 14 food. That's a little more like it. Because 14 food kind of like represents 2 pops that we don't have to have on farmer jobs in order to make sure that we're feeding all these guys. We already have 5 research slots. Jesus. Yeah, we can just use gazillions of pops here, which we could even potentially get by attaching. Do we have enough stability to spend on that? Maybe. It would only give us... Let's get this Nemeton down first, actually, and then we'll potentially see what's going on there. You do need production, but you also need better tiles. So yeah, you need to actually build a warrior, even though we're growing a pop, we need to use a pop to get a pop to go start grabbing some tiles, because this city cannot subsist on one tile alone. The tile that it is on requires the assistance of others. And then I guess we'll still pick up hydrology. I don't really feel like we need to get standing army immediately, especially if we're going to think about doing a swords rush on these guys. I don't know. I don't know if we need to do that. Crodella is just gonna like send me all of the information about multiplayer that he's collected over the last like 14 years, and then I can like and then I can fail to interpret it correctly, and then in doing so learn. I think that'll be good, because there really is a lot of homework that I feel like I need to do for Humankind in order to get to the point where I'm satisfied with the tier lists that I think the game deserves. Yeah. That's how I feel about it. I think this game deserves good tier lists, and I know I am not currently capable of making them. Multiplayer will be that crucible. Proxima Centauri, yeah, Purple, you're gonna have to tell me why you founded this, other than to just troll me, because I don't understand your thought process. If you're just trolling me, then I suppose I can't even be that mad. I understand that vibe. Wait, why didn't you build this? It said 1 turn. Didn't it? I swear to God, it said 1 turn out there. Alright, whatever. That's 8 turns for that? No way. Definitely not. We could do Nemeton here. We're not going to be building adjacent farmers, but I think that's okay because we are still working towards. How did we miss picking up abstain that early? We didn't whip anything. I think we had enough faith to work through some of that stuff, but I don't know. Maybe we didn't. Evidently not, I suppose. 1, 2, 3. No, 3, 4. Okay, so yes, I declare Thumb War. So we can go here. And I guess we'll grab this tile and then that tile. Oh, crap. Wait a second. No. We should get papyrus. We should definitely get papyrus. So yeah, let's go this way, actually. We'll grab this one as our Bantu guys. Or no, we'll grab this one as our warrior to spend influence first. Because that'll probably be like 6,000 influence in order to grab this. We'll see how much influence it actually costs to grab this with a warrior. It might be impossible, but I'm going to attempt to do influence first and then grab our 4 dudes out here first after that. When you build an army, it's hard to take religion. You need farms and lots of growth. Yeah, okay, cool. I mean, also, like, the two runs in the middle of Bantu Madness where we just sort of, like, got this incidentally were just, like, I think pretty obviously high roll starts where I just got like a ridiculous amount of resources early. Like one of them we fought probably like 5 or 6 mammoths during it, honestly, at which point the data also just kind of like stopped making sense because it was just oops all mammoths. And I've played the game enough to know that when you just get a million mammoths that your data is not going to be representative. We could do that for sure. Yeah, we actually will have enough influence to cancel codified and then impact customary laws. Let's see what it costs to found it, but I bet you're right. I bet it probably is cheaper to cancel and then redo. Let's see how much it says it costs out here. Okay, so it says it costs 85, so it's actually cheaper to just found the outpost, right? Because this is 122 to cancel, then like another 14 or 16 or whatever to pass it, and then another 120 or whatever to cancel it and then come back. So this time I don't think it makes sense, but that's generally something that is pretty good. I agree. Okay, so yeah, let's go up here. I think that plan makes sense. Let's try to get these guys with the Burgundy. Because I think the papyrus really will make a meaningful difference in terms of our growth pattern here. And we do actually have enough cash that if we wanted to trade with purple before we tried to fight them, we could. It's sometimes spooky to like offer resources to a player who you're attempting to destroy, but I don't know, sometimes it really is correct. Like if you're getting more out of the transaction than they are, then it is net positive to interact with them. Mounted scouts, so like upgrading to, I guess we'd have to build some of them for that. We'd have to build these bad boys, the scout riders, but we do need to get this down here in order for us to build those reasonably. So actually I think I probably have to get another warrior at a minimum in order to go out here and grab this, because we don't have any horses at the moment and we need to fix that. We could add a copper mine though. Yeah, that's okay. So, Croydilla, would you just hold the 4 pioneers here for like the purposes of scouting as well as the purposes of just like zoning enemy units out? Because I could see that argument too, honestly. Like having actual units on the board that can do things is pretty good. Usually not bad to have a military presence. I guess we could take fortifications. But I'm gonna pick up a philosophy, so that way when this flips, we probably can start putting some troops together to go up there and fight them without being worried about being too over getting to 2 over on influence, or on influence, is something that we can support, but it would sort of like devour all of our growth right now, and it's something that you really can't support in VIP very, very easily. It is very difficult to float on over like 2 over cap on VIP for an extended period of time. You will experience incredible amounts of instability attempting to do that. Yeah, all the greens disappear. Yeah, I know that one, Croadilla. So like that's why I'm trying to kind of get rid of the pioneers, because their value is starting to drop off because they can't grow anymore other than fighting animals, right? And there just aren't going to be a lot of them after a certain point. I think, no, actually I could get food from fighting these guys, but I'll tell you, with my experience with 14 combat strength units trying to fight into instant resolution, they typically die faster than they generate food. Typically. I guess we could just pick up a little more growth. Or maybe we want to pick up a wonder here, honestly. Yeah, let's just pick up a wonder here in Mukumba. So I guess we could even raise district. Wait, wait a second. No, this will destroy it. This is not the renovation. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use a renovation on this to just float production through on surplus to next turn, so that way we can start our wonder, whatever it is, like a little faster. I think that's probably correct. All right, give me the enough pops that I can do the cool thing. Give me AI game. Reward me for playing badly. Give me the things that I'm asking for. Who's attacking me? A scout into my guy. I mean, all right, guy. If that's what you want to do, wait a second. How am I getting engaged in 2 battles at once? Oh, it's because this guy's got 3 warriors over here. All right. That's where their army is. Cool. All right, so we do need to be prepared to potentially fight pink or purple here, which means we might not have time to build a wonder. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, you guys don't take... Hey, what's up, Four-Way? Yeah, we're basically just getting started right here. So Croadilla, the other guy in chat right now, our #1 chatter, is like a really good multiplayer guy who's been playing around for a long time. I mean, I don't know, Bruno. I feel like anytime I play, I'm always missing something. So I don't know if there's anything like specific, but I would definitely check what Croadilla is saying here in regards to gameplay, because he knows what he's talking about. And so we're just trying to basically incorporate multiplayer learnings into a single player experience as quickly as possible to figure out like what sort of things that the VIP mod pack fixes that kind of fix the problems that I assume must exist in multiplayer anyway. And then just like, I don't know, like learn more. That's really where we are, because of let me flip over to Steam and float the display copy to the top. But I'll tell you, like, basically what it comes down to for me in terms of my own experience in playing a 4X is that like I feel like I learn a lot in like the 1 to 200, maybe 250 range, where I'm like figuring out what the UI is. Once I get past the 300-hour range, that's where I feel like I've learned enough to know that I know nothing. And then like that zone between 300 and 1,000 hours, how much I learn there depends a lot on what the game is telling me, and like how much feedback I'm getting from it. And I typically get better feedback and more information in that 700-hour split if I'm playing a lot of multiplayer. So that's why I'm trying to get multiplayer going. But it's complicated to play multiplayer on Humankind, especially because the netcode is sort of like all over the place, and I don't want to do manuals against the AI, and I get that some people want to do that, but that one is really a non-starter for me. So it's tricky. Like, we'll get as much multiplayer done as we can, because I think it is the most valuable kind of data for me to be collecting. But this is going to be the second most valuable kind, I think, where we'll just be collecting, single player data with the input and observations of multiplayer people. And I think that that is also where a lot of developers are doing themselves active disservice through their behaviors in regards to how they treat multiplayer. If they assume that multiplayer is exclusively a bunch of psychotic monsters who want to exploit and cheat, then unsurprisingly, like, that's what their multiplayer community will end up looking like in terms of player behaviors. But that's not everyone who could be playing multiplayer. That's just the only people who are willing to play multiplayer when the netcode is buggy and terrible. I don't know, Bruno. I don't know. I want to play more. That's what I want to tell you, Bruno, is that, like, I think they might be, but I need to get a better handle on how you've changed things in regards to the AI before I know for sure. Because that's really what matters, like, I think overall, is that the game needs to be balanced in such a fashion where the game isn't tricking itself. And if the whipping and chopping numbers are too good, then the game is tricking itself by not doing it enough. Whereas if they're too bad, then the game is tricking it by doing it at all. And I think generically it's better for it to be the first way, right? Where it's just a little too good and the AI is not getting quite as much value out of it as it should be, because then the players at home can get that extra value. What did I spend influence on? Because I was supposed to spend influence on something here. What was I not paying attention to? Oh, this is what I wasn't paying attention to. And that probably was actually correct. Did we roll the surplus? We did roll the surplus. Okay, cool. So we're just pre-queuing stuff here. It's doing surplus rolling things. Don't look at the wizard behind the curtain. I love doing surplus rolling. It is my jam. I don't know about that. But I think that is, like, not. I don't think that's exploitative behavior. I think that's the way that surplus should be taught to people. That's the way Master of Orion 2 taught me, and I think Master of Orion 2 understood surplus in ways that probably drove the average human to insanity, but I thought was neat and fun. All right, so we could be building a fountain here. Because as Crodilla says, like, the autarch bonus, this is something where it reduces stability in your non-capital cities, which makes it harder for them to grow. And so, unsurprisingly, the stability is kind of maxed there, and is going to run out of growth there pretty quickly if we're not careful. But that's a fixable problem, because we can do this, and then we can grab this, and then we'll be able to build, like, backfill with some stability. We don't have to build it now, right? Because we're not between the brackets. And I think that's fine. All right, I'm gonna click intern here.
Discussion are not the pastimes of the idle.
Looks like we got philosophy, which means we got some units wiped out here by our retreating units getting chased down by purple. Good. Can you reinforce there? No. So purple is gonna zone us pretty hard at the beginning of the game here. To begin our relationship with one another, purple is going to slaughter a bunch of our random pseudo-civilians wandering around on the field. But it looks like we should be able to get revenge at least with this dude. And we need to clear the bad roll anyway. I'm pretty sure that it has pre-queued bad rolls, or rather that the RNG seed follows, like, a specific outcome or roll outcome until you clear it by fighting. It seems to be the way that it works. All right, yeah, let's go over here. Sella, we can grab horses. Let's grab a wonder. Let's grab the wonder. I don't know. So here we actually have the ability to take everything. We could even take Hanging Gardens potentially for wondrous effects here on Silk, but considering the actual widget numbers involved in the cities in question, a percentage bonus is not as large or as impactful as it, you might think. Whereas, like, the percentage discount on Pyramid of Giza. This is just a lot of scaling that you get pretty quickly by building this. Stonehenge would fix up a lot of stuff in regards to stability, and it would give us just like a ridiculous amount of free production because this thing is religious. But I think I'm gonna go with Pyramid. Like, it's a little slower in terms of paying itself back, but I think it's a little stronger overall, probably. We have a desert to build it in, right? Did you just take a pyramid that you can't build? No. Okay, good. It has to be built next to a river, right? Oh, should we try to get a river here? If we attach this, we'll go to 30. And then this will go to a gazillion pops here. You're mostly maxed out on jobs. Maybe we do that. That might actually be correct. Yeah, alright. I talked myself into it. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to build a harbor. That will take this to 20 stability. That seems okay. Yeah, we'll build a harbor. We will attach Elnath. We will build pyramids. And then we will realize that we've committed to the same line of play where we're going to like be fighting a pseudo war while also building a wonder that does nothing during said pseudo war. I need to email Amplitude, but it seems like they're still dealing with like stuff from the thing, because I messaged Kat and they haven't messaged me back yet, but I assume that's because they're probably still working on France stuff. But I do need to get the Parabellum wonders because they look like they're fun. Do I have somebody to revenge kill here? So yeah, you get to kill that guy, but I'm going to revenge kill you with this probably, unless you run away. Knock, I don't think we care that much about. So you actually go out here and chop. And at least now we're in the classical era, so we're gonna get even more. Oh, Cat's on a week long? Alright, that's cool. Yeah, that's not a problem. It's the way it is. Like, the thing is done. I want to do it, but also I'm doing another ridiculously long stream next weekend anyway, so like I literally don't have time to do that stream until at least next week anyway. So like the earliest that I could reasonably do that stream would probably be the end of the month, kind of with or without Amplitude's input. That is just the way it is. Okay, so do we want to work on standing army right now? Probably not. I think I want to be able to float on a couple of warriors for at least a little while. It might make sense to like burn a turn off of standing army and then come back, but I'm just gonna split the difference and take fortifications, so that way if purple is getting like incredibly spicy, that we don't immediately die. But it looks like knock and then probably Asur is the goal. Alright. Where'd you go, little turd buddy out here? Where'd your scout go? Did you run it away? Did you kill my guy and then run? If you did, that's rude. It's probably correct, but it is rude. On that note, I guess we probably should have built a second. Very, very obviously actually should have built a second envoy by now. Those things are really good if we're able to get points off of them. Let's see. I guess we'll do here. That looks like a pretty reasonable tile. They'll give us this. And we have enough movement points to go here to get a little vision. So we 2. No, we have to come back after that. Yeah. And here is another tile. So 11, 13 is way worse than 14.4. So yeah, let's get the 14.4. Okay. Yeah, this doesn't look like a particularly bad setup, especially since we got abstained from intoxicants. Hooray! We did it, everybody. It's pretty late in comparison to what we got on the good runs, but I think that it's early enough that we'll still feel it. It's a lot of production that we get. Yeah, we're at 3 turns now on Pyramid of Giza. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Maybe we'll even chop 1 tile here. That's 4 production though. That's 3. Yeah, we'll just chop this and attach this one to Bukengi, because we'll have the ability to without losing stability into outer space here. I guess we should use influence to build stuff, because we have it. Is this going to nuke our stability if we attach it here? No, it won't. So we can do that too. And then next turn we can still move and then attach, and then we won't burn this chopping when we get it done. So this should be done on turn 26, because we'll have 2 chops. We'll have we'll have 2 chops coming in. Yeah. And then I guess at that point it might even make sense for Mukumba to do non-starvation things. Yeah, do some non-starvation things. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, no problem, 4-way. So, like, I'll do what we are doing, like, normally, where I'm about to take a bio break right now. So, we'll do what we're normally been doing, where we're just gonna stream, edit out the bio breaks, and then put in chapters that are there for confusing people. And then, hopefully the content will continue to operate well as a VOD, even if there are only, like, 3 people here for streams. Because, like, some of those Amplitude streams have done really confusingly well as VODs after the fact, like the Welcome to Endless Space. So that's kind of like where I want to get these sort of streams managed, to the point where we can do a How to Play Humankind stream, or a Welcome to Humankind. But as we play this game out, there really are just like an absurd number of moving pieces that I think are good, because I think it adds texture in interesting ways to the game. But I do think that I just have so much more fun playing on VIP that unfortunately that is going to have to be the vast majority of the content that we make here, whether I intend to make modded content or not. I must respond to my own biomechanical feedback loops, and I have a lot more fun playing on VIP just due to what the AI is able to do, because of how the rules are adjusted to its behavior. All right, yeah, we need more envoys, Walker. We desperately need more envoys, Walker. Oh, yeah, we are gonna finish that on chops. All right, yeah, we're fine. Maybe we should have taken a Diplo, honestly, because then we could have rushed through some of these Diplo stars a little faster. I wouldn't have hated that. Religious tolerance. Does that make sense? Oh, god damn it. Bruno, you were supposed to remind me that I could change the thing. But yet again, you've failed to get in front of the train that is Walker clicking through things without exploring the other buttons, just clicking stuff and then seeing what's happening. I'm blaming you for that. You're the one who revealed this information to me, therefore you must take ownership of it. And then we'll be able to get this as standing army iron. I'm too fast. I'm too fast. No one can stop me. I'm actually like 100% sure that a handful of the problems that I experienced with not Amplitude, with Triumph's netcode on Age of Wonders 4 on some of the streams is me clicking through the prompts faster than their server is responding to things. Because that's just, I don't know, that's just what I'm doing. I just click on stuff. You just click on stuff, and I think you'll typically have a pretty good time. All right, so yes, we are indeed starting to hit a stability crunch, which we'll need to solve by probably conquering Knock, but I want to conquer Knock anyway, because that's pretty good in vanilla. Conquering free cities is great. If we do that, and then we have a good military to go down and fight purple afterwards, then it won't be a timing attack rush. It will be forced to do other things than just a pure swords attack. And that's what I want to also force myself to do with these streams, because I feel like that is a strategy that I can do while not streaming. I need to get better at doing it on stream, so that way I can figure out when I'm supposed to do it and when I'm not. But like, if I'm only figuring out when I'm supposed to optimize that behavior, I'm also going to be making like not good guides. And I want to make good guides. I want to make guides that help the handful of people who watch them. And none of you can stop me. That is my goal, and none of you can stop me. All right, I'm clicking intern, and then I'm taking a bio break, and then we will pick it up from here. I'm just gonna keep the coffee pot on the floor over here. We got a coffee maker on Facebook Marketplace that apparently this poor person paid like $200 for. It works. It is not a $200 coffee pot. It is an over-engineered mess where like they built a thing, which I don't think they accounted for the fact that plastic is gonna like warp and expand as like steam comes into contact with it, and so like the pieces don't really fit if I'm being entirely honest, and so I have to keep like a little bit of like a sheet tray underneath it to make sure that it doesn't like spill all over the place whenever it's brewing. It's very silly. It's very silly. Okay, so we could whip the pyramid here. Or we could whip the pyramid here, because this has 4 pops. And I don't even hate that. Oh, we can't do it because of the bear. That has 1 pop to whip. That's not really enough. Well, I don't know. I do want to get it done this turn. This is 1 population there. All right. And then this is potentially a lot more food if we move it. So yeah, let's move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I think this is fine. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think purple is going to attack us this turn. So I'm willing to keep a couple of pioneers on the board just so we can like respond to stuff. But I'm not willing to give up on the scaling opportunities here in terms of production. I want to chop some things down. I want to chop some things down. I want to chop some things out. Should we pick up standing army now? No, I'm gonna delay one more time. I'm gonna pick up craftsmanship, and then we'll come back for a standing army, and then we will be forced to take standing army. We probably should have taken standing army early from a defending against a rush perspective if we were fighting in multiplayer, but this is gonna be close enough. This is gonna be close enough. Dipata. I guess we will take forge. And then I suppose we could still whip in Mochenge. This is really inefficient, but I think it is correct. Hey, we even got the first wonder done. Of course we did, because the AI wasn't picking a wonder. So yeah, great. We got extra points off of that. That's pretty good. And this also gives us a little more stability to work with too. 5-2. It's like no food here. I guess we could take animal barns to give a little more growth to Macumba, but yeah, this is a really low food city for now. We will have to fix that with Nemeton as soon as the game thinks we have enough stability to do it. We will have to fix it there, but we can do that. This envoy we could even buy. I don't mind doing that considering our current cash income. Is there anything else we want to be building? 16 industry is pretty good. 21 industry is even better. 21 industry, and it costs less. Actually, it costs so much less that we can do it in one turn. So yeah, let's do that. We'll build that. We'll build... I guess we'll do watermill after. And we're still going on science. Yeah, we're still going all right on science. We've got 4, 5, 11 scientists at the moment. That's all right. Yeah, that's okay. Now we got to start thinking about what we're going to do with our influence as well, because they're starting to run out of like obvious things to spend it on other than potentially open-minded, but I don't think there's going to be any... there's not really going to be a lot of religious pressure coming back from other people onto our types, so maybe not. Okay, let's take this outpost. Right, like, how many farmers am I employing right now, or like generically? And do you mean on vanilla or on VIP? Because I would say that the answers that I have for all of those are pretty different, honestly. Like, right now I'm employing probably more farmers than I really want to, just because, like, I have a lot more pops than I sometimes have at this point in the game, thanks to the power of Bantu. Right now in this game, I have, I think, 9 or something like that, but they're all at, like, a reasonable amount of productivity per pop. They're doing more than just feeding themselves for tiny amounts of stability, which is what they do on vanilla most of the time. Most of the time, if you have unupgraded farmers, your farmers are doing basically nothing for your economy, and I want to get them off, but doing so is going to require building a couple of Nematon. And I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do that. If we have to build a couple of Nematon in order for us to not have farmers, then that's what we will do. If we must replace our... Actually, should we do that? Or should we do this? That's probably better, because at least it will take advantage of flood irrigation better whenever we get around to building it. Yeah, that looks better. And then we can take a public fountain here. And then we'll probably want to chop a couple more times. Can you get back there? You could get back there. So you go back down, chop again to funnel a little more production into Pada. That looks all right. But we're at the phase, I think, kind of in regards to this this national economy, where we're kind of trying to do Master of Orion 2 things. Did I not? God damn it, Walker. You started chopping here and then said, let's attach this to here so that way the production doesn't get wasted. And then you forgot. Yeah, so, no, I agree, Bruno. Like, the value of Celts, I don't think is on the legacy trait. I think the legacy trait is something that I'm hopefully only using as an interstitial thing. And then what I'm trying to do is, like, minimize my costs in regards to getting food. And Nematon, because they are a religious district, in addition to the farmers' quarter, they're going to be pretty inexpensive to build. And then because we did manage to get, you know, vanilla abstain from intoxicants, they are doing abstain things. So, like, I agree entirely. I think generically the power on the Celts is not here at all. I don't think that their legacy trait does a lot either. I think what it mostly does is it gives you a way to continue to get a buttload of food while minimizing, hopefully, what you are putting in to get that buttload of food. And that's what I like to do in regards to developing my food economy, is like just keep your costs low so that way you're not wasting stuff on dumb things. I guess we will take the watermill, or rather we'll take Acela, even though we've ruined the economic value of this by missing out on 40 production. And now I'm never going to financially recover from this. I think we want to take that just so that way we get even more growth here. Yeah, like 22. Yeah, so like that's my point, Bruno, is that like I'm not actually trying to run farmers, I'm trying to not run farmers, but the Celts give you a way to like flash some farmers for a little bit while your Nematon come down, and then once they're down, then they can leave and go do other things, which means that like their legacy tree just doesn't do anything. And I think that means they definitely cannot be like a top tier culture, but they do seem to do something on the Dante patch, and so I want to explore the limits of what that something can be, and that's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here. Even with abstain from intoxicants, if chopping is 2 turns, it's probably pretty good. I don't that one, I don't know, Bruno. I really am gonna have to play like a lot more on VIP to tell you what my feelings are, because I generically think that honestly 3 turns on chopping is mostly where I'd want things to be anyway, and then I'd want the numbers in terms of actual incomes to be lower. So that way you're not just like spending a bunch of time waiting for stuff to happen, because I don't think that's good for a 4X's like long-term survival. Again, I love Master of Orion too, but wow, you have to enjoy watching paint dry for a meaningful part of the early game if you want to play Master of Orion 2. That has to be an experience that not only you are willing to endure, but something you are excited for. And I don't think that communicates well with like modern people. I think modern people expect to be able to do things in their video games rather than not do things in their video games. And I think that's reasonable. I think that's uncomplicated behavior to want to support. Let's see. The rest of this looks okay for now. There's a bear. Good. You can get at least a little bit of vengeance against them. Celts over Garamantes or Carthage if you need the food. Yeah, the Celts again. I don't really am not convinced that they're like incredibly powerful. I just don't know what they do. Like some of these other things. I think my evaluation on them is probably limited by small end data problems. But the way that you fix small end data problems is by increasing your N, by just interacting with the object more. You'll figure out more what it does, hopefully. If you're paying attention, hopefully. Modifier, 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 hopefully.
Let us formalize.
Alright, so the Assyrians are offering us a non-aggression pact, but our war support is getting high enough that I'm not doing that. Maybe we will counter here, and if they accept, then we can start offering trade stuff with them, because they do have lots of things to trade for. But I think we're more likely to want to just try to attempt to eat the Assyrians later into this, because it does look like they're falling behind in terms of development. They're holding on 1 for a really long time, and that's usually really bad. Science, nuclear stuff. Yeah, alright, nuclear guy. Looks like we are definitely going to have to counter this. Give me some cash. So, no. Alright, cool. We will be gearing up for inevitable war then. That's what I want in Humankind 2 more than anything else. I want more tools for players to interact with each other competitively over important things like fame, in non-annihilistic ways, right? I want them to have ways for people to send parts of their economy in a way that makes sense into a competitive environment, where they are not competing to kill the other player, but just they're competing to outcompete the other player, because that gives you more, like, a lot more flexibility between how do you interpret this object. Should you be looking for growth, or should you be looking for more than that? And I think that's good. I think presenting players with questions they can ask themselves is really good game design for a 4X. Because that's how I think you keep players invested. You also definitely have to have like a better early game. that is I think the biggest problem with Humankind, is just like there's so many big deltas in terms of early game spawns. When you build a lot of districts for food, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I can see that. If you're building, if you're building a bunch of stuff with Egypt, I think that Egypt, probably broadly agree with you, Croadilla, where I don't put Egypt as being like particularly high. I think most of the time people like Egypt because, you know, it feels good to build things, but that that is not enough on its own to really make them good in my eyes. So we could build 3 warriors here. All right, Croadilla, answer a question for me real fast. If I build these 3 warriors like this, I can take standing army this turn, right? Because I'm not actually unlocking it this turn, and it'll still build all 3 warriors next turn, won't it? I'm pretty sure that's how that works, but you are the one who I would trust more in regards to that information. I'm not opposed to just clicking it and seeing what happens, but I'm pretty sure that's what happens. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happens. I'm just doing it. Let's see if we have 4 troops here. Yes, we do. Great. Okay, so we have the ability to grab some... They'll be ordinary swordsmen. Yes, they will be ordinary swordsmen. So you have to straight build the Gesati. Bruno, did you change that in VIP? Like, can you upgrade warriors to Gesati in VIP with Celts? Okay, you. Good. More points. More stuff. Sweet. This is gonna be the most stacked warrior in the universe out there. You cannot upgrade them in VIP. Is there any way to change that, or is that just like that's a feature of the game's design that you cannot upgrade those? Because it seems like it's important to enable. Honestly, are we closer to fighting purple than we are to fighting knock? Because it kind of feels like we might be, honestly. Okay, so in vanilla there are 2 types of unique units: the ones that replace the normal ones and the ones which complement them. All right, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And then this isn't a replacement thing because it's still here producible as swordsman. We would have to build Gesati. Yeah, whatever. That's fine. I guess we are trying to fight purple now, even though I said we weren't trying to fight people. Okay, I mean, I don't know. I kind of want to be able to upgrade to the Gesati, right? Like, I don't think that that's bad to aim for. They're pretty good. I'm not sure exactly what they do in Autoresolves because of, you know, communication issues, but I think they do stuff in, I think they do stuff. These are also, like, way more expensive in VIP, right? These are, like, 1 turns. Jesus. Alright, purple. We're gonna have, like, 14 units to go attack you. Oh, okay, so I have a bunch of buffs in VIP? Alright, cool. We're on, like, super brain mode. We're just learning as much as we can over the course of whatever time we have left to work on humankind before we cannot entertain our absurdities anymore and must move on with our lives. But in doing so, I hope that I will learn enough about Amplitude's design philosophy that at least I can make recommendations that I think are useful for their other games. That's what it boils down to. It really is what it boils down to. I want those games to do well so that we can like win this growing 4X war. I don't know if if I just like hallucinated this in the middle of the night, but I could have sworn that I saw somewhere that somebody said that Age of Wonders 4 had moved their DLC date to the 7th. I could not find anything that said that was true, so I am going to assume that that is just either somebody else made that up or my like fever dream in the middle of the night brain made that up. But like it is very obviously true that with Amplitude now independent from Sega, they do not have infinite financial resources to compete with Firaxis and not just Triumph, but Paradox, which is the company that owns Triumph now. And so, like, if you're Paradox and Firaxis or Take Two, then you should look at this independent Amplitude and say we must destroy it before they can figure out how to make good games so they can fight us for control over the 4X player base. That would just be like correct behavior for them to employ. So like I'm not at all surprised if they are trying to organize to like prevent them from breaking in, because that's something that like I don't know if there are any legal solutions to that in terms of this is monopolistic behavior or not, but it feels sort of monopolistic-y. It feels sort of monopolistic-y. I will put it like that. I guess we could even try to drop in a garrison here, but that's 2 turns for effectively 2 turns of walking anyway. I don't think we need to. Maybe we should have another couple of archers though. Let's go with we got 3, 4. We have 4 swordsmen and 2 archers already. So yeah, let's take another archer. And then if we have to grab Bunda to get a couple of pops back, we can grab Bunda to get a couple of pops back. And I guess we could even make another dude out here. I guess that's what this dude is supposed to be. Is a dude out here to grab more territory. It's just been fighting bears the entire time. Yeah, alright, that looks okay. We need to come up with a solution for our influence though. Like, we cannot just bank 10,000 influence and feel good about it. You're supposed to do stuff with your resources in a 4X, it turns out. It's usually pretty good for you. Doing stuff with your resources is way better than just like looking at them and appreciating their presence in your life. They should do things. Alright, so yeah, that'll go there to pick those up. I wish I could trust the envoys to just be on Auto Explorer and pick stuff up, but it sounds like the Auto Explorer does not work in Humankind, which means that the AI cannot explore period in Humankind, and that's a problem. That's a problem that I don't even know if Bruno can fix, but that is a problem. And it unfortunately means that my desired behavior for envoys, which is like build them and ignore them and they'll get points for me, is not as complete as I would like. Yeah, all right, sweet. Let's get overproductive. I don't know which narrative events are associated with all of these things either. This one I'm pretty sure is pretty bad, where like if you do this, there's a chance of getting like -2 pops or something like that in a VIP. But whatever, like we're here to rumble. I swear to God, you did say earlier we're not gonna fight people early, but I don't know. That's where the economy is. That's where our units are. That's where my vibes are. It's sort of at this point an inevitability that we must fight them. I guess we could chop down one more, but I kind of don't need to. It'll pick some curiosities with auto. Okay, well maybe I'll try it out. I don't know. I want Auto Explorer to not be broken like it was early on in Humankind development, because that sounds misery-inducing for both the player as well as just like insane in terms of outcomes and responses to those outcomes. But I also want like the Auto Explorer to be good enough that players can use it without feeling like they're hurting themselves. I don't think that's unreasonable. Like, I think automation tools are the most important thing when it comes to accessibility in a 4X. I'm not going to automate everything. There are going to be elements of the procedure that I'm going to refuse to even entertain, because I just love the scouting phase. It's just part of the game design, part of the genre design that I enjoy. But I think if all of the automation tools work relatively well, then the game works well to onboard people, right? And then as they learn the game and they learn the systems and they learn how everything works, then they can decide where they enjoy not having automation, and like where they can learn more about the game by doing more of the things themselves rather than less of the things themselves. All right, well, I guess we can't get that with this guy because that guy's there. That's okay too. Do we have another outpost to turn into another city? I guess this could be another city. That could too, maybe. I guess we will make a 4th city. Either we'll make a 4th city or we'll make another wonder. We could still make hanging gardens potentially for the wondrous boost. Science per district is also pretty solid here. We don't have like 400, but we probably have like 30 or something by now. Maybe 20. But it still would be like on a percent basis a pretty meaningful increase in terms of our science per turn. We're not really going to use a lighthouse here. We do have a harbor. But I don't think we need that. Or we could take Pyramid because it's cheap, and that's not bad. Having a really inexpensive thing to build that could potentially get us a bunch of food here actually might be worth it. But yeah, getting more cities is just like always good. Let's get city 4 up there, and then we'll see where we can get tiles for city 4. I think maybe one of these two. I don't need 400 tiles, but I probably need more than one. Alright, get out of here, purple. Yep, there we go. You know what, I'm gonna actually see if a Burgundy Pioneer hanging out in this fight, in this zone, can actually collect food if it's on its own stack, participating in a siege fight. I feel like it might be able to, honestly. $310. So we could get 10 more production by going here in exchange for 250 something production. Or we could get 10 more production in exchange for around the same amount, honestly. But this will give us more influence. But will also increase the value here because of the adjacency bonuses. Yeah, I'm okay taking that. We're not moving from one stability band to the next, so I think it's fine. And if we build another Nematon, then this will slip into instability, but we're probably fine with that because we can build you pretty quickly, Aqueduct, or we could even trade temporarily, or even just build an obelisk. That is another option in regards to increasing stability in Macumba. If we want to turn this into a city and then still be able to fix up our stability there. Have we missed out on the competitive deed here? Let's see, where is it? Build a holy site. Yes, we have missed out on the competitive deed for sacred ground. So this is not worth points, but it's still potentially valuable if it allows our cities to keep growing. Okay, so the Builder Star is done. Let's see, Scythian Neapolis. Alright, Scythian Neapolis. At least you're friendly Scythians. I don't know how that works, but at least you are. Gives me a little more, alright, so minus 20 food is not a big deal. We are very happy with minus 20 food. So you can go here. You can go there. 9 units is really not enough to start this war with. So we think we need to come up with a way to get a couple more units at least coming in as reinforcements, so that way we're not just like fighting another fight that we're not prepared to win and then burning off all of our growth and then losing. So let's figure that out before we commit to violence down here. Let's figure out how many units do we need. So right now, at least, this is not gonna go well for that purple doodly bub. Oh, where are all your? I don't know where all their reinforcements are coming from. This cannot possibly be a fight against one. Oh, there's 4. All right, sweet. Yeah, let's do this. And cool, we killed 5 dudes, and now we have a bunch of war support at the beginning of the war, so this will be a much better fight. Okay, good. Yeah, this should be a lot better. Bring the Burgundy down. Yeah, actually, let's go ahead. Let's declare war. Let's go to crises. Let's demand all.
There is a penalty to be paid.
I don't think they're going to say yes, but that's all right.
Have you no shame?
And we'll declare war. And this time we actually have war support instead of having 38 war support at the beginning of the war. We have 100. Great. Stream. That stream was ridiculous. That stream was ridiculous nonsense. I think this will work a lot better. So we can take Nineveh and actually Assur. It might even be worth it to just do that, but then okay, so if we fail in this, we'll be at 1 over. If we take both of those cities, then we'll be at 3 over, but in the meantime we could potentially flip out of Autarch over to small council, and our economy is big enough to float at 2 over now, so I can turn this into a city. That's fine. Go here, go here. We don't have the gold to buy out a pottery workshop right now, but that's a short-term problem, I think. Probably, hopefully. But we might want to, next turn, I guess, whenever we have more influence, we might want to consider like starting the swap out of Autarch and towards small council, both for the purposes of like reducing the stability problems in our non-capital cities, but also so that way we can start working on the Liberty track. Because getting influence on emblematic districts is ridiculous. I don't think it's broken in the sense that I think it should be nerfed. I think it's might be a little too good in the sense that the other tools are not good enough. But that's a fixable problem. That is a very fixable problem. All right, where do we want to set this guy up? I guess out here, honestly, looks pretty solid. Because this just looks like oops all like things for our stonework to exploit. We already have stonework stuff, and there's no woodlands there really for us to exploit in the city anyway. So yeah, let's go here. Let's go build an obelisk. Can 1-turn it. That's pretty good. And then we'll need to determine if it's worth it for us to just declare and march straight on Nineveh next turn or not. Oh, wait, never mind. We already declared Walker. That was this turn. How could you forget it was this turn? That's also a pretty standard Walker Eileen interaction. Is I'll apologize for something that I forgot, and then she gives me this like dirty look because I've already apologized for forgetting it once. I'm allowed to apologize for the thing 1 time. If I do it 2 times, then I wasn't paying attention the first time. Conquest researched. Okay, yeah, that's fine. There are 3 troops that purple just retreated with, so we are definitely going to need to add more troops to the board. I'm not going to attempt to prosecute this fight without any of them, but we kind of needed some growth to ensure that we were not demolishing our access to tech, which it looks like we kind of are anyway, even if we were trying not to. Wow, there's going to be so many free cities out here. This is kind of why I like playing on normal instead of large. There are going to be too many cities for us to conquer, unfortunately. Some of the map settings I do think just work a little better in regards to like basic behaviors, and then some work a lot better whether or not you're playing on VIP or on vanilla. All right, so we're not going to start the siege this turn. We'll start it next turn. I don't think we're gonna see anything out here other than territory. We're gonna waste a Diplo envoy ability to generate influence just so we can fog bust. Okay. So we could build an aqueduct. We have 220 surplus, and that would let this continue to float. So we'll do one. I guess I'll just do another 4-stack. That's definitely enough, though. I really sincerely doubt the AI will be able to defend against like 15, 16 units here. Alright, let's see. You need the ability to keep growing because you're floating at ridiculous nonsense values in terms of stability here, Walker. Because you probably should build... nope. 2, 2, 3, 6, 2. All this infrastructure is not doing it for me. I guess we can build research. Yeah, we can build some research. That's fine. Do we want to buy out the pottery? Or do we want to use it for upgrading? I'm going to use it for upgrading that warrior at least. In case we do find like bears or what have you out here, having a marginally stronger unit means that we don't have to spend time. Any other Amplitude games we Raptor? Yes. So not right now because like Bruno really has cursed me. I cannot escape my obsession with Humankind at the moment. But I would say that Endless Space 2 is still my favorite Amplitude game. I did a stream for it, the like Welcome to Endless Space 2, and then said I was going to do some like content for other things, which I do still intend to do, but I had intended to do this Humankind content 5-6 months ago and failed on that intention. So I do play other Amplitude games. I think Amplitude is a very good developer. I think they are in an interesting position in terms of like what is happening in the 4X space and the conflicts between the developers there. So like I don't know if they're going to be able to do all of the things that I want them to be able to do in terms of developing Humankind, but I still think that Endless Space 2 is their best game. I think this is the most interesting game that they've made, because it is so good and so flawed at the same time, and that the fact that those things exist at the same time in my brain I just find interesting. But I think that the critique that I hear often about Amplitude, that like their games are pretty but empty, I really do not think holds water. I don't think that's true. I do not think that it is true. I think that if you think that, you probably don't know what is happening in Amplitude games, and that you should probably play more multiplayer. So we could trade off an Envoy and a Pioneer for some number of their units. We'll do it. So literal 3 units. It was literal 3 units for 2. But neither of those were units that I was particularly married to. And if we can attrite them out that way, we can win pretty quickly, I think. Especially against... Oh, if we can... Oh, man, if we can get that siege done this turn... Do we have any other scientists we can get out? God damn it, no, because all of our scientists were supposed to be here, and you made them all... All of our scientists were supposed to be here, and instead of letting them do their jobs and do research, you made them all join the war effort and march off to their potential death. I'm telling people about this, Walker. Someone's going to hold you responsible for the things that you do. Yeah, let's do this. There it is. Boom. Did it. So we'll get siege projects next turn. And then we should be able to chew down Nineveh with Trebs. You will need a buttload of gold to heal some of those units if we're going to use them. But we might even just like make some of them go away. Like if we just make this dude run back outside of the siege zone, it's probably honestly safer. Yeah, it's definitely safer. Zoop. Where are you going? Mr. Pioneer, you just going out there? Alright, yeah, sure, that's fine. If you come down here and start pillaging me despite having a peaceful symbol on it, Scythian Neapolis, I am going to tell someone. I'm not spending 138 influence on that. But I'm going to tell people that your peace symbol is a lie. And that you're tricking people by pretending to be cool and vibey and instead being mean. and bullying my guys. Don't bully my guys. Don't daze me, bro. Oh my god, purple is gonna have the weirdest empire to conquer. We might just conquer these two and then come back for War 2, honestly. Because I don't want to be in this war for 600 turns like we were in the last stream. That is where warfare is bad for you. Warfare is great for you if you do it well and you know what you're doing and you're executing like a pretty quick and clean and easy conquest. And it is really bad for you if you're just burning off all of your growth. And I think that that's good. I think that's where warfare should be. It should not be risk-free. It should be something where if you don't do it well, that it destroys your economy, because that's kind of where it is in real life, to be entirely honest. If you can execute constant risk-free wars in real life, it would have really interesting meta consequences for state behaviors, I think. Yeah, this looks fine. Okay. So this is where I wish that the game had a better, like, rollover system where it's not immediately sucking you into a combat, because there's no padding on the timer. But I think this is good enough. And I think that this is good enough to spend a tiny amount of gold on, just so that we can have a couple of turns here to build siege projects. Because I think we're going to need them, to be honest. Oh no, it is currently still sucking the wounded warrior in, but we'll go back there. Go back there, and then you should be out of the way, right? Yes. Alright, so let's start the siege. We're just going to wait for a couple of siege projects to come down. You can manual these fights and, like, cheese the AI and get them to run out and attack you and all that stuff, but I do not think that that produces a stable or interesting gameplay for me. I'd rather, like, see what siege projects do. And in Humankind, pretty sure that the siege projects do a really good job where they absorb damage first, and then you start, you know, getting, like, actual damage onto your real units. Don't think this is going to be enough total units, honestly, though. So let's get another Nematon, and then we'll have just infinity pop growth. So then we might be able to build a couple more units, because it looks like we're going to need them. There's at least a 4-stack here, and although a 12-stack is not going to get wiped out by a 4-stack unless there's something fancy going on, I still want to minimize our losses and our attrition in combat. Like, if you're going to do autos, then you really have to just be, like, a lot stronger than the opponent that you're fighting, rather than just marginally stronger. Can we attack with this? No. I'm gonna attack you with my professional army envoy and destroy your scout, purple. No, not this time. Could get ransack gains. Ransack is another thing that, like, because of the way that Bruno has rebalanced things, ransacking is, like, a really, really powerful tool to have in your notebook, because it modifies the speed at which you chop stuff, and that's cool, because anything that modifies that stuff, I'm down for. Hey, violent mercenaries. I don't like that you're hanging out here. I think you violent mercenaries should go find something better to do other than be violent mercenaries. Why don't you go, I don't know, like, build a widget factory. I hear that it is all the rage. People love building widget factories. Looks like this could be another good tile to attach to Nemesis. It definitely need, oh wait. What did I just click? Oh, I just clicked it from Q to buyout. It definitely feels like there are some pretty quick fixes that we could make here. We need probably a little more stability. Oh, wait. No, we need a little more stability, and we have a quick line into getting more stability. Let's do this. Let's do this, and then we can have 1,000,000 influence too. We do already have some, yeah, we already have some emblematic districts, quarters, whatever they're called. Good. Yep. There we go. And you do not have the ability to get any more free stability in our capital, so we might have to build a couple of units just stand in the capital, honestly, if we can't find stability elsewhere. But maybe we'll build another obelisk in our capital for more exploitation purposes, because this also looks like a good spot to build off of. There's a lot of abstain woodlands to grow on. Yeah, I'm talking myself into all this. We're gonna do this, and then our production will overflow into the obelisk. We've got not enough troops, which is what we were supposed to be building. But Nematon, we don't have any overflow there, so that's not going to be adding extra unit next turn. But maybe the turn after we can build some stuff there. That could be good. I want to get at least like 16 units probably to march down to Asser. It's probably correct. And I think that's good for this turn. Yeah, that looks alright for this turn. Maybe we'll get mercenary armies so we can hire some of these guys. Convince them to stop pillaging our territory. That's pretty good. If we can convince them to stop pillaging our territory, I'd like it. We cannot... Okay, Numidians. I don't think we can do anything with those guys there, can we? Go to current selected army. No, I think we just have to fight those guys if we want them to stop pillaging our territory. Alright, we have 2 ballistas. They have a buttload of citizens. But 2 ballistas is, I think, enough that I don't think we're going to lose anything to this. So, yep. Looks like the Autoresolve agrees. And Nineveh is ours. So now we get to determine how deep into Purple's territory we want to try to push. They have 95, so yeah, that's their 4-stack with 3 swordsmen and an archer. We might want to try to get maybe another couple of units down here just to zone those guys. And we did say Macumba could build some things, and I think that's mostly true. I think that's mostly true. Build a couple of Gesati. Build 2 more units there. I don't think we're gonna whip that. Maybe we buy rush this though, so that we have a little more potential growth once we attach this. Once we attach this, let's just grab this and then we can attach it next turn. And then Nemosos should be able to grow pretty quickly, because this is the other side of this, is that Nematon isn't even like a great emblematic quarter. Like, I don't know where I would put Celts. I really don't. I would probably put them maybe in B tier on the Dante patch right now, based off of my limited experiences with them. They seem like they do stuff, but probably not broken stuff, and there are some pretty broken things going on in Humankind. So we could get 10% money. 25% faith is fine, but I don't think we're desperate for that. And if we were to take the stability, at least it would mean we wouldn't have to build the obelisk, but I mean, we're already there. Like, the obelisk is going to be done in next turn anyway, so I'm okay with that. We'll just float on this. We'll heal these guys. Looks like we should have probably enough military strength, almost certainly, to bulldoze purple here. Just a question of time. Yeah, I'll take cash. We really just kind of always need cash if we're trying to prosecute a war. It's good for healing troops. It's good for upgrading things. It's good for Zimzam and Flib Flam. Alright, fine, purple. Oh, they have another 4-stack up there. Alright, cool. Yeah, I wasn't planning on attempting to defeat purple entirely in one war anyway, because their empire is just going to be too big because we're playing on large. But given that they have another military presence up north, looks like for sure we're not going to be able to kill them in one war regardless. This is 14 production though. It's pretty good. All right, we'll probably have to make a couple of units in Depata to help drive off these guys, but that'll also give us some units to help move down to Nook after we're done with them. And I think that's good. I think that looks all right. How many turns to Asur? It's like 5-6 turns out there. Looks like they caught probably an envoy. Yeah, they did. Looks like it. Croydilla says that there are like some seriously grotesque problems in regards to like being able to make it so that you cannot conquer a city and like other forms of movement abuse in humankind. And that's something that I sincerely hope that they have time to fix, because that sounds like an enormous issue. All right, so you want to switch from Divine Mandate over to Natural Right. I'm okay doing that, actually, because we already, as mentioned, we do have a pretty reasonable number of emblematic districts already. So we are going to be on +2 influence on emblematic districts and +4 influence on districts. I think that'll probably switch over next turn is my guess, because it didn't change on the HUD. Is this the best spot for this? 8 and +8 production and -6 food. No, I think we want a little bit of food off of this. Ooh. So if we attach this, the cost on the quarter will go up. If we want to get the best bang for our buck, we buy it out first and then attach. And I think we do. I think the city desperately needs some real growth, so let's do that. That looks okay. I'm gonna go to the high ground just to see what we can see over here. Looks like a lot of really aggressive little free cities over here. So yeah, our military can be potentially growing our economy faster than anything, honestly. We do need to get some units down, because if we can conquer any of those, then that is an absurd amount of growth that you secure for relatively low inputs. And we'll work on Imperial power, because this is something that we... Oh, we were ready to flip this turn. When did we get that? When did we get that? Bruno, you distracted me. When did we get this? Let's see. We're at 13. Jesus Christ. All right. Let's flip this turn. Let's figure out what we're going to do, actually, to flip. I think probably I'm going to want to flip into Khmer. They're just usually pretty good. But we do have the ability to flip into Swahili, because we do already have some harbors as well. Like, there's a harbor on an unattached outpost. We could detach this and then add some harbors. So let's do that. I got above the threshold for flipping and like completely did not register it at all. I don't know how I did that, but we somehow like got past the era star requirement here with Celts. So we have to flip. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Swahili again. I think they're just generically pretty good, and we have like stability problems that we need to fix. And Swahili is very good at doing that if you have a reasonable amount of influence to pump in. And I think we do. I think we have a reasonable amount of influence to pump in. Like, we can just drop a couple of these guys, make some Bendari, have an infinite amount of stability and a reasonable amount of growth on some of these in pretty quick order. I wish we had lakes here to use. So maybe I'll increase lake amount on the next one. That could be good. Yeah, that could be good, honestly. Alright, so these guys are not going to be able to get here to prevent the pillage, but if we start moving in that direction and then have more units to potentially pull this into, then we might be able to get there. We need 124 money to upgrade these to horsemen. But if we save for a couple of turns and stop hurling money at other things, we might be able to get there. Yeah, let's look for that. Let's look for that as an outcome, as a pattern to support. So yeah, we'll detach you, and then maybe we should just detach now, honestly, because it'll reduce the cost on some of these things. those things in particular. Yeah, all right. You talked me into it, Walker. We're gonna temporarily detach these territories, and then they'll be easier to fix up whenever. Oh, Jesus Christ! All right, as a temporary measure, I am warning everyone right now that there is a thunderstorm happening in my immediate vicinity that I can hear in the background. I intend to play through it, but the last time that I had a thunderstorm, I was talking to Bruno, and like, literally all of the power went out in my house all at once. So if that happens, then do not worry. I have earmarked this playthrough as the playthrough that we are going to do this week. And if that means that we have to finish on Wednesday or Thursday, both of those days are open for streaming. So if the stream suddenly stops because the power goes out, don't worry. There is going to be time to finish this. I'd detach this territory too. I guess there's no reason to detach here until next turn. So yeah, let's just build some stuff here first, and then we'll do that next turn. I could get animal barns, because now we're at the point where these are pretty fast to build, and that's when like the comparative cost is lower. Can you guys hear that in the background? Like, I have a pretty good mic for filtering things out, so I'm usually more paranoid about you guys being able to hear things in the background than I need to be. But it's not as loud as whenever they're doing like mowing and stuff out there, but it is loud enough that one of our boys, one of our kitty cats, has decided that he is too afraid, he's too scared, so he's hanging out on our like on top of the CPU tower. I have to open my tower like every couple of months to just clean out cat hair from the inside of my computer. That's where I am emotionally and physically. I have to clean cat hair out of my computer every couple of months. It sounded like your belly? All right, good. Yeah, we're gonna go with Swahili. We will see how they turn out, but I think they're gonna turn out pretty well for us, because I'm usually pretty happy with Swahili. They're a pretty powerful culture overall.
Wisdom and technical innovation from earlier eras.
It's like, I need to get more coffee. I put the coffee pot on the
ground.
ground.
New ways to kill each other off. Greater empires build more powerful armies.
Yes.
But brute strength may be defeated by superior innovations.
Dude, you see that headshot?
Versus Bruno, with ever richer cities as tempting spoils.
The Swahili and the Swahili coast. I love languages like that. Like, Swahili is a lingua franca sort of, but it's like it's a trade language that got developed by, you know, merchants and stuff doing crazy things, and it is an interesting part of human history for sure. All right, Bandari, do Bandari things. Give me gigantic numbers that I don't have to interpret. that's what Swahili does. Gives you huge numbers that you don't have to figure out what they do, because the numbers are so big. Their numbers are just so big. We get plenty of cash, and because we're still in codified laws, I'm not super worried about the expenses of reattaching all these things. And this should be all right. That should be okay. All right, you, I guess, reattach LNAF. That seems okay. You reattach both of those. Is that correct? Is that what we want to do? I might want to whip out one of these, Bandari. Because I don't know. I don't really want to waste that much food production here. It's so big. Walker 2025. There's so many 2025 things that are going to be coming at you that your mind is going to melt. And that's believe it. That is a Naruto promise. I'm going to melt your brain. I want to melt your brain. I want to melt your brain, Bruno. I want to melt your brain in particular, so you regret what you've done to me. What have you done to me, Bruno? Where are my human parts? Where are they? Did you replace them all with little VIP dingly bops and widgets? Because it feels like you replaced my physical form with VIP widgets. Which I'm not accusing you of doing something wrong, to be clear. But I would say I am accusing you of doing something concerning. Alright. Everybody in chat, do you think the fact that we are above them matters for this auto-resolve? Or do you think that it doesn't matter for this auto-resolve? Pick Inca next? Maybe. If that's a faction we haven't played with before, which I believe it. I don't know what Inca does on vanilla, because food's not usually good enough to care that much about in the mid and late game. I feel like we've done all of the homework to make our food work, but I could pick it anyway, just because like Tawantinsiu is pretty sweet. That's if we are revisiting after the end at all, it's pretty inevitable that we will have to do more South America gameplay. It is inevitable. You've been playing and you've never taken Incas? Yeah, I don't think I've ever taken Incas outside of VIP. And I think that probably is still true in terms of outcomes. I don't think they do what they need to do. Oh no, we can't attach that due to a presence of these are not a hostile army game. These are a peaceful army. That's what it says right here. Peaceful. See? Why are you lying to people? Why are you trying to trick people like this, Amplitude? Be nicer to your players. Don't trick them. Trick them in the way that I want you to trick them. Okay, wait, Gasati can still upgrade to Great Swordsman though, right? I'm pretty sure they can. That's 40 influence. Okay, or 40 industry. So we're actually not really gonna have enough to one-turn that anyway. They're passive-aggressive army. Good. My cat would love that. Actually, she's more of an aggressive army. She is an extremely angry young lady. That's why Eileen and I love her, but that cat is not, I wouldn't say poorly behaved. She doesn't do like stupid cat annoying things like poop in your shoes. She just like gets into fights with our other two cats all the time because she wanted to be an only cat and we refused that offer from her, and she has not forgiven us, and that crime was committed like 10 years ago. It's just, and then she's just held that hatred towards us and the other cat for existing for most of her life. That's how she is. That's who she is. That's how she vibes. Alright, so now we do actually need pops here in order to keep production going, because we can very obviously grow a gazillion extra pops to take advantage of those jobs. So we will make some extra market quarters here, or maker's quarters here, but we're also at the point where like the maker's quarter has increased in cost so much, because the way that the cost increases, I'm pretty sure it increases where like you get a little more extra cost on it based off of jobs, was what the wiki said. So like as you specialize more in the same kind of quarter, the costs will continue to increase together. We want to move into inherited land, and because we took Swahili, I think it will be a lot easier to do that, but we're not, I don't think, ready to do it this turn. I think we'll want to do that over the course of the next couple of turns if we can successfully drive purple back and out. Although we need more troops than this to do that. I'm not marching on their capital with 13 units. That's just like... Dog, where are you going? You just coming back for round 2? Do we have anybody else we can get over there? No? Alright, well, maybe we will be able to still beat this with not too many losses. Yeah, not any losses. Cool. Alright, great job, Purple. Thank you for your army. Thank you for your service. It is slowing down our ability to walk on their capital, and therefore the resources that we're getting out of it, but it also means that we didn't have to build 400 units in order to do that, which means that we haven't like completely annihilated our food income, which does seem important if we're going to take advantage of all of the physical infrastructure we're building. And we can upgrade to horsemen here too. That gives us 54, 70. We're not able to win this if we do that. So yeah, we'll have to retreat, wait for those two guys to show back up. I don't think they can cross the river here. But we've distracted them off of the... We took them off of the Artisan's Quarter before they could burn it down, which was the important thing. And now we also can attach Algol, which is also, I think, the important thing. So let's do that. Good. Yeah, that looks alright. Okay, Dipata. Do you have the ability to make any more units for us, friend? Because I think we're gonna need it based off of all these idiots walking around out here. Yeah, let's make another Gesati and another archer. So we have 4 Algol territories. Alice Landel? I don't know what you're talking about, Bruno. Algol territory? Is this a literary reference that I am missing? Because I'm missing enormous chunks of like data in regards to normal human behavior. I have to do a lot of interpretation and form, and I don't know what the humans are doing, but whatever they're doing is interesting at the very least. I guess I could do this to get a buttload of money for myself and a small amount of money for my war enemy. I don't know if I want to give my war enemy gold, but I think gold probably does more for me right now than it does for them. Could also just grab like an iron. Nah, I don't know. It's a Phantasy Star 1 reference? Good lord. I'll level with you. Phantasy Star, because I never owned a PlayStation, I think I've only seen like a handful of like maybe like 15 minutes of somebody playing Phantasy Star in the learning enrichment room in high school, because we had we had some people who were willing to bring things in and play on their emulators in school, and we had basically a good learning enrichment teacher who was willing to let us do that. 1980. Wait, okay, so maybe I'm thinking of Phantasy Star Online, which was on PlayStation, but like one of them had a PlayStation emulator and was playing a crap ton of a Phantasy Star game in LE. I don't remember which one it was, but one of them was playing on something. Maybe it was a Sega emulator. It was an emulator that I do not normally use. Normally, I use Nintendo emulators, by which I mean normally do not sue me, Nintendo. I know that's what you like to do. I don't use emulators. You can't prove it. All of my computers are not named some various interpretation of Super Nintendo emulator. You can't prove that, even though I'm sure if you looked at everything on my computer, you would determine that that is true. They're all named Super Nintendo of various forms. Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. Maybe I think I might have been thinking of Phantasy Star Online, because they were complaining about how they, like, you know, because it was an emulator, we're not getting the full game experience. That is very possible. All right, sweet. We're on the cusp. We have actually an absolute crap ton of money here. So if we get enough time, if we get 3 turns of delay before marching on Aswar, we actually could upgrade all of those archers, honestly, into crossbowmen, and that would be pretty good. Like, that these guys at 18 strength are going to contribute meaningfully less. I don't know how much meaningfully less in terms of auto-resolve results, but definitely meaningfully less than if they are correctly and sufficiently upgraded. And we can do that even here if we're willing to grab some of these random tiles. So yeah, let's start working on war summons. We'll get 3 turns to upgrade them, and then we'll march on Aswar. And I think at that point, when that falls, we will be able to draw out probably a peace treaty with Purple, take a good chunk of their territory, and then hopefully turn that into a good snowball for us.
This is where I greet you.
And yeah, I'm gonna introduce myself to the Han. I don't know where they are, so I'm gonna go ahead and just immediately propose trade with them. And because we have a crap ton of money, we are going to use it. Alright, so we have production, we have science,
I think that this calls for a celebration.
more science. Alright, let's get incense. Let's get obsidian. Let's get, this is why it would have been nicer to actually have our cash problem solved first, so that we wouldn't have to take Swahili to solve our cash problem, because Swahili also solves our like stability problem, and the cash is going to solve our stability problem pretty cleanly here. But ultimately I don't care. Like, if we're getting an absolute crap ton of stuff from trading with Han, then we're gonna get an absolute crap stuff. Don't forget to click the select religion button next time I get a tenant pick. I don't know how to tell you this, Bruno, but I'll attempt to. I'm not going to make you any promises in regards to that. I like clicking on buttons. I am not a complicated man. I like clicking on things, and then I'll go back and watch the VODs later and figure out what the consequences of clicking on the buttons were, and that results in me pretty much constantly actually forgetting to check things that are aesthetic. I would say actually universally forgetting to check things that are aesthetic. Alright, so we get 19 production from these guys. That is absolutely good. Can we chop here in one turn? No, 2 turns for that chop. But we'll clear those out, and then I think we can start actually chopping here, because we have 5-6 units. Assuming that this stops retreating next turn, I think we can drive that off. Yeah, I think we can. Alright, let's see. Science per population is pretty reasonable. We're doing okay on growth. We could drop in another Bendari for even more gigantic amounts of cash. I think that's good. I like getting more gigantic amounts of cash. Gives us flexibility to do things. And given that we are in a war, having flexibility to add more military strength is usually pretty good. 14. Yeah, let's get 14 here. The biggest cost, I think, is that we did not take Khmer, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And we also didn't take Longbowmen. Maybe I should have done that. I don't know. Feels like that could have been good too. 16. 9. I think we have enough food that we go for the production first. And that's like twice as much and produces like less than 2 times as much. So yeah, let's stack it like that. Let's do lumberyard first. And then I guess we'll just vibe over here and try to occupy the space between before we take your capital. Alright, get out of here. Nope. Get out of here. See, I tricked you. You thought that you were going to catch me, but as it turns out, not the case. We caught you. Yeah, so we have 6 units here against 3, so this should be an unmitigated disaster for that stack whenever we engage them next turn. Oh, you're chasing off my envoy. You jerk. Oh, and they have 147. Alright, well, it's a good thing that we're working on war summons then, because that would be a problem if we had to fight 147 strength without the military capability to actually win that war. Should we try to get another scientist onto the board so we finish that this turn? Maybe? Let's see if we can find a scientist before we decide if we have to do crazy math. Because there might just not be any science slots left. Looks like that is the case. There are no science slots left. So that is a non-factor. Maybe we could buy rush something? This is 12. Can we buy rush this? For 8 pops, we could buy rush this. No, we're not going to. We're not sacking 8 pops to build a tiny amount of research. Oh, but we could do foreign innovations. Yeah, we absolutely can do foreign innovations. Let's do it. All right, yeah, let's go. We are going to have way more than enough to do that. Everybody else still has plenty of stability thanks to Bandaris and Swahili things.
Have a glass.
You're our enemy, but we can trade more with our friends. Not like super huge on getting a bunch of saffron, but we do already have some farmers' quarters anyway. Oh, but we're gonna need the cash for upgrading. Yeah, we're gonna need cash for upgrading crossbowmen anyway. So no, we're not trading anymore. We're just gonna take it. We're gonna get turn 41 crossbows, which that's not as fast as it should be, but that's also like not as catastrophic as our last game was going, which was which I'm gonna say that war was not well prosecuted at all. This one feels like it's gonna turn out a little better, even if it's still a little like slow on the actual execution side. Yeah, let's get you here. You gonna run away? Yeah, run away. Good. And I guess we'll put you here so that way you can upgrade next turn. And we'll see how many you can actually upgrade. I think there's gonna be probably enough cash to upgrade most of them. And then here we go, I guess. Yeah, here we go. Alright, war summons, good. Yep, we'll get 2 of them this turn. And we can get probably the rest of them next turn before we start the siege on Aswar. Is it worth it to just, like, literal finish you off? It's a scout. It's not really going to contribute much to the defense or recapture of Aswar. It's mostly just, the scout is a scout is a scout. It says what it does on the box. They're not complicated. Maybe we want to get a little more cash this turn, though. Yeah, I think we want to get a little more cash this turn, so that way we can upgrade 2 next turn. So that way we at least have 4. Alright. Instant resolution. Get wrecked, little mercenary guys who are trying to be jerks. Yeah, alright, sweet. Yeah, they should be able to zone those guys out without any issue. And it looks like probably we can go feudalism into chivalry from here. Yeah. Basically what we would want to have done if we were probably playing tighter to conquer these guys before conquering purple, but that's not even like a definite thing, because the fact of the matter is if you're executing a timing attack, one part of the strengths of it is you need to attack when you are stronger. And so if we delayed by going up here to take these guys, it would have given us more growth to fight back against purple, but it also would have given purple more time to attempt to develop themselves. And that's a very, very tricky needle to thread. You do not need farmers anymore. We need cash people, because we need enough cash to upgrade 2 next turn. That's what I want. So you need a little more, just a little more. I'm not sure exactly how much more, because I don't know if the AI, if Han is going to trade with us or not. But this at least nominally will get us to the 400 that we need. And then if I can remember to switch them back, then this army should be able to bulldoze Aswar pretty cleanly here. I don't see how they would fight back against that. They look like they're in a lot of trouble. Let's see. 12 industry seems okay. And 14 industry seems fine. Kumba is still on growth pattern mode, so we could potentially pick up infrastructure that adds food if it's good. Oh, fisheries, Jesus Christ. Yeah, alright, we need to get some fisheries down. Like yesterday. They're so efficient if you have a buttload of infrastructure that interacts with harbors. If you have a bunch of infrastructure that interacts with harbors, just like with granaries, where you should not abandon the farming slots if you are playing VIP. If you are playing with a buttload of harbors, you can definitely use fisheries and fishmongers and stuff. They're pretty good that way. They're pretty good like that. Okay, so you could build another little production guy. That wouldn't be bad. You could also just try to pick up a wonder here. I don't even hate that, because if we pick up a wonder, we could potentially set up for taking Machu Picchu after this war. And Machu Picchu is pretty good. that's how I will phrase it. Machu Picchu is pretty good. It's a pretty silly little guy. Machu Picchu is a pretty silly little guy. There's 187, 260. I think Mukinga is going to end up being our best city here anyway. So this is probably where we're going to want to build the Angkor Wat. Do we have a mountain to build Machu Picchu? Yes, we do. All right. So yes, we can build. We can build a bunch of stuff here. I think that's fine. But we will do Angkor Wat later. I think we'll do it like that. And then if we have any reason, I guess we should probably build a Maker's Quarter here first. And then maybe we'll roll into more industry in the south. 3. There's another 16 if we build that. Yeah, that seems okay. So we'll build that, and then we'll have people just roll into Angkor Wat, I think. As that tiny amount of infrastructure gets built, we should be able to roll everybody over to make this thing happen in maybe 5 or 6, maybe 7 turns. But there's really nothing that we're spending the influence on otherwise. So yeah, let's just do it. Hey, there it is. You think the war can be ended? My friend, my enemy. I do not think you understand my purpose and goal here. If it is to annihilate you, it is to annihilate you. Alright, so you've got 5 swords and an archer. And then 5 little buddy boys. I don't know. Is that enough to attack in with? Wait, what? Their battle management. Okay, so yeah, they're just hurling units at this northern guy to make sure that they can't reinforce, I guess, is what that is accomplishing. Okay, so we have to do, I guess, a risk calc here. Like, is it worth it for us to just try to attack like this with 14 and they reinforce out? I guess we should probably set this up as our territory first, so that way we can heal in it if we want to. That seems good. Let's do that. Yeah, let's go here, set this up. So now, even if we do get, like, some of our units annihilated in this war, or, yeah, this war against those guys, I don't think we're super duper far behind. I think we can do it like this. So that way as many people are still in friendly territory to heal as possible. Do they retreat? They retreat! Excellent! Alright. So we drove those guys off. I think that means they cannot actually reinforce into this battle. Probably want to get the envoy out of there though, because the envoy is mostly just going to get slaughtered if we let it participate in combat. Yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah, let's start this siege. See if they attack out. If they don't, we will get 2 siege weapons for next turn for the instant, and I think that'll probably be enough to crush them there. Let's see, 3, 2. You can go back to doing important things. I think we're going to have the ability to do some important things with our other pops. Oh god, right? They're not. Construction is frozen because we participated in a combat. It's annoying, but it does, I think, represent the economic damage of, you know, warfare going on around you a little better. And that should be good. That's good. I guess we'll do 1 farmer just so it's growing. Because at least our Celts is nominally making that a little stronger. Let's see what else we have in terms of stuff. Yeah, we're not using any of this right now. Maybe we use open-minded, but there's just not going to be any other religions here, right? Yeah, there's just like no other religions here, so I don't think we need to do that either. All right, cool. Let's see if Asur falls to our siege project. We have 2. We have a buttload of units. They do have 50 fortifications, so I could actually talk myself into waiting 1 more turn. Considering that this is where the bulk of our army is, and I really don't want to waste our army in a conflict that we are almost certainly going to win. Let's wait 1 more turn on that auto. I'm not going to wait for all 5, but having 4 gives our frontline guys just effectively an infinite amount of extra HP to absorb, which means that like we don't have to wait around for our guys to heal as long. And considering that what I would like to do is after we've conquered those 2, go up north and conquer all of these guys, keeping our units healthy is probably the right way to play it out from here. Especially because this army looks like it's going to rock and roll. Like, we already have a pretty reasonable chunk of what we need to conquer knock already. And then once this army gets there, like, those free cities are just going to fall one after another after another. And then we'll have an infinite amount of influence to do silly nonsense with, which is my fetish. Like, doing bizarre, silly nonsense things with influence is my favorite way to play Humankind. Makes me feel like I'm experiencing the height of magic, but like from the perspective of a creation element rather than a destruction element. And we'll get this. Oh, we can get a little more cash this way. What do you mean a little more cash this way? Jesus. Yeah, alright, Swahili. Do Swahili things, Swahili. I have faith in you. Yeah, that military is gonna get totaled out here. Yeah. Instant should cost us nothing. And, yeah, there we go. Asur has fallen. They do have a bunch of extra cities, so we're not literally eliminating purple this turn, but this is the same bug that we encountered in VIP. If you capture their capital, the AI will just move their capital. That seems like a huge bug that needs to be fixed. Yeah, that's silly. All right, let's ask for surrender. Let's actually do the right thing here in terms of taking everything that we want. We want all of Nineveh and all the things associated with it. I'm also going to take all of Asur and all of the things associated with it. And then they'll be left with just a rump state, and they have to pay us a bunch of gold. Yeah, holy crap, they're gonna pay us an enormous amount of money. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Yes, it makes so much sense that the game should be able to randomly move their capital in the middle of a war. I'm gonna need to see some proof of that, guys. You need to see some hard science in regards to that. All right, there we go. So we conquered this. What time is it? It's 6:30. All right, sweet. That means that we definitely have time to keep this rolling, Bruno. But I'm gonna take another quick bio break here, and then we'll see how much further we can go today. I'm definitely gonna wait. It'll have. Oh yeah, last VIP stream when my capital got captured, it moved for me. I mean, okay, I like fine, but that cannot possibly be working as intended, right? Like, just because I also benefit from the bug whenever I'm getting demolished by your AI does not mean that it is not inherently behavior that I do not think is supposed to be behaving that way. I think that's how I'm gonna phrase it. I'm not gonna take an ideological stand that this is the most grotesque thing I've ever seen in my life, but I am gonna take a stand that this doesn't really make sense. All right, I'll be back in maybe 5-ish, 7-ish minutes, and then we will keep playing with Swahili here. I think we're probably going to be able to get through to at least like close to the contemporary today, and then probably we'll finish the game on Wednesday is my guess. But this feels like a game that is very winnable. All we have to do is stay ahead of blue in terms of advancement, and then we should be able to just like leverage growth into the late game and do a bunch of fame stuff, and then just do a bunch of fame stuff, and then with said fame stuff, just demolish them. Resources only count when they get a trade route to your capital, so if your capital's down, you lose access. Oh, I don't know how they're supposed to fix that then, but like it cannot make sense for your capital to move during warfare. It doesn't. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a war support ticking thing if your capital is occupied anyway, right? Like, I'm almost certain that that's how that's supposed to be working. Cool. We have chivalry in 2. Yeah, this is going so much better than the VIP stream, unsurprisingly, because the game is a lot easier on vanilla. Yeah. All right, I'll be right back. All right, all you got me in trouble with Eileen, because apparently I missed the there was some sort of FedEx delivery that I must have missed because I was busy doing this instead of paying attention to the door all day. The joys of being an unemployed cat dad. What was I doing? I mean, we just killed purple, so I mean, not like literally, but I don't see how they are going to recover from the amount of damage that they took. Seems pretty unlikely. I don't think they're coming back anytime soon. Let's fix these cities up real quick. Good lord. This is going to be an absurd city. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Oh, even better. Why do you have so many garrisons here? Oh, right, because of Dune. That's why. Jeez. All right. Asir is going to be rocking and rolling. All right, sweet. Yep. Should be a pretty easy game, I think, from here. That's what it looks like. I think that's okay. I think that's fine. We will use chivalry. We will see how far we get today. I think I'm probably gonna stream until like 8 Eastern Standard Time is my guess, roughly, for today, and then we'll finish the game off on Wednesday. Like, generically, it's better if I do it as one big stream, because typically people don't watch part 2s most of the time anyway, but I don't care. Like, if I'm making content that is going to be useful to whatever few crazy people are willing to watch it, that's good enough for me. You're building, I guess, more industry? Yeah, let's build more industry here. That looks alright. And we'll get Angkor Wat, and then I guess hopefully next turn we'll be able actually to flip out of Swahili and into, I think Bruno wanted to see Inca. Maybe we'll wait one turn to get the science star, honestly. Angkor Wat. All right, cool. We will have enough influence that we should be able to pick up Machu Picchu pretty much as soon as we flip in. And then we should be able to get just enormous amounts of growth everywhere. And enormous amounts of growth everywhere is usually pretty good. Unsurprisingly. Getting absurd amounts of growth is usually pretty good. You guys could go down here to clear off those rebels and to secure this tile. So yeah, that makes sense. Let's do that. And then I guess everybody else is just going to go north. Because that's where the people to fight are. And I want to fight people. Fighting people in Humankind Vanilla is very, very good in terms of scaling you out. Like, maybe a little too good in terms of scaling you out. I don't know. But it is very good. Could use... guess we could use this horseman to just run down here and grab some tiles. Yeah, we got the ability to. And honestly, now we actually have enough cash that we can switch land rights to inherited land. And we have enough stability to do that too. So yeah, let's go. Let's go. That seems pretty decent. We could have taken paid wages here too also for the purposes of reducing the stability penalties on occupied cities, but I don't think that's a particularly high important thing. All right, so now I have to click this thing because Bruno told me that I have to click. Oh crap, 1 second. I think I left one of the cats on the back porch. Man, I am the worst cat dad. I left that cat out there for like 3 hours. Loki would not have been bothered by that, but Susie is definitely bothered by that. All right, we're Swahili right now, so I guess we're gonna go with Islam. That's flavorful. We don't need that. We're not gonna get tons of that. We don't have a ridiculous number of religious districts, but we do have some. Maker's quarters, I don't really care about that. We do have a buttload of harbors. I don't know if I care about getting a ton of food. Most of this is kind of not important, to be entirely honest. Yield to none is probably our most important thing if we're going to be trying to follow up and kill them without getting a trader badge, but if we get a trader badge for finishing a player, I'm okay with that. So, I don't know, man. None of these are, like, insanely good. But I'm going to take Observe Feasts because of or Observe Fasts because of where we already are. That will make this, like, kind of pop off as soon as we get, Machu Picchu down. Because we're going to just have an absurd amount of food to filter out to the universe. Getting little amounts of food, not so good. Getting absurd amounts of food, that's pretty good. That's usually better. And it'll get us victory points too, so yeah, that seems like a good deal. Let's get knock. I guess we will be able to siege that down in 2 turns is my guess. Because we're gonna want at least these stacks here to reinforce into that. But if we do that, then like gonna bulldoze that guy right out there. That seems pretty likely. 10 industry, not really. I guess it's gonna scale up even faster once we get some more down, but I'm gonna make a couple more makers quarters before we make jobs in infrastructure places that will scale up the cost of said research quarter or said makers quarters. Maybe we want to start working on some research quarters, honestly. Let's get a little more production there and then we can figure it out. $2, $5. I mean, a fishmonger is not apocalyptically expensive. A granary is very expensive to support in vanilla because we mostly just don't want to be running that job type. Yeah, whatever. We'll just build some maker's quarters. If you're not really sure what you should be doing in a game of Humankind, and you have no like baseline heuristic to fall back on, I think that this is a game where primarily, especially in vanilla, that production is, I wouldn't necessarily say king, but production is easily one of the most important resources, especially because of the way that you can like translate one type of resource to the next, to the next, to the next. Just tends to be really strong at scaling up your economy. If you can, oh, right, if we can build some commons quarters that we can then get the reduction on costs here, then we should be able to take advantage of the mid game, I think, a lot better. Yeah, let's do that. This will be pretty. This will be pretty inexpensive to buy Rush Out, honestly. And it got us a builder star. I mean, I'm still gonna wait one turn to finish this for the science star. Am I? Yes, I will, because I'll get an agrarian star too. Yeah, I'll get an agrarian star too. If I can get 2 stars in one turn, then it might be worth delaying on, but most of the time, do not waste your time delaying. It's usually better to get more snowballing. That is what the game even tells you, which is like one of the more absurd and confusing things in regards to people reacting to Humankind, is that the game does warn you, like, you might want to save, you might want to like wait to get 1 more star or something like that, is I think how it phrases it, or something like that. But like, it tells you, don't like dick around and get 400 little stars on your Eero track. Like, one of the loading screens literally warns you as much. Oh, hello, Susie. The cat that I abandoned on the back porch has come over to voice her concerns and complaints, and I think is justified in doing so. Yeah, let's wait 1 turn, because we'll get
as feudal structures prove
agrarian and scientist. All right, sweet. Yeah. Bruno says we've never taken Inca, and that is what this says. This is a Geist choice. Like, sometimes we're going to choose things that I think are, like, hypothetically, I don't know if I would say optimal, but definitely hypothetically a lot better. And then sometimes we're going to take things because I haven't taken them ever, or like haven't played with them in long enough that I don't remember what they do. Inca, I don't think are good, to be fair. I don't know if these guys do anything at all in vanilla, and so I'm curious to see how Bruno has rebalanced them in the VIP patch, or in the VIP mod, but whatever, like, we're doing well enough that I'm willing to take non-perfect objects to see how they function under situations where we're probably ahead enough that it doesn't matter. We will take theology because we could be floating at 2 over city cap, but I think it's just generally cheaper for us if we floated only 2. It's just like really rough on your influence economy otherwise. You back, Bruno. I remembered it. I remembered it this time. I picked Islam because we were playing as you didn't change Inca in any way in VIP? Do they do anything in VIP? Because I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do stuff in vanilla too, but they really don't feel like they do anything in vanilla. You want to trade everything?
Proposition should be in all our best interests.
Yeah. All right, Bulgarians.
Yes,
I'll trade with you.
I cannot dispute the benefit in that.
You're far enough away that I'm not worried about giving you cash. And although we don't have armory yet, I'm go ahead and buy that just for our own purposes. This is being interrupted? We don't have grievances with you. I don't know. You would have to, I mean, like, we're going to have an absolute crap ton of mountains here in the center of the map. So, like, maybe this is going to be an opportunity to like, figure out what they do on the fly. But, like, or is a bunch of food, like, really what we should be doing in the mid and late game? Because that doesn't feel right. That doesn't seem to be the correct thing to do. It seems like the game wants us to do things other than just have an absolute crap ton of food. Especially in the mid and late game. Yeah, 416 is okay. And then we can build another Bandari before we float. Yeah, I could see that too, Bruno. Like, a Hamlet is just a generically very powerful tool to have access to, so I don't know if they're like unplayable or not. But if they're incredibly narrow, then they're not as interesting. Yeah, sure. We have enough production here. I don't care. Do it. Where are the units that are moving? Are these guys? It's those guys. I don't want to start the siege this turn and have them attack out, but I also don't want to miss out on this.
Let's go.
All right. So we could just clear those heavy cav. But if we're going to do that, then we actually want to do it with just one unit so that the rest of them can heal. So yeah, let's do that. We'll move back. We'll send one Gisati out. Lose the Gisati. But clear 2. Clear 6 for... Alright, well... I'll take that trade. Hopefully that does not then immediately allow purple to annex knock. That would put purple, I don't say back in it, but that would give purple a lot better, a much better chance to at least resist us in the second war, which I'm hoping they do not have the ability to resist us in the second war. That's what I'm attempting to position us to do. To have War 1 be where we break the power of Carthage, and then the other wars where we just take their stuff. Or I guess War 2 is where we break the power of Carthage, and then War 3 is where we eat them if we're role playing entirely as our friends, the Romans, countrymen, friends, Romans, countrymen. Here we go. I guess we can take fundamental values garrison now. Push entirely into liberty. We're already in entirely into liberty. I don't know. I'm gonna take this anyway. Once we're already deep into the Liberty track, then picking this up isn't as important, especially because we are playing with a Swahili part of a build, so like our stability is not nearly as rough as it can be, but that's okay. Sometimes we take the things that are strong enough in the current moment that they might remove the need for us to take other things. That will sometimes happen. Is the way the game works. All right, yeah, let's go. Let's see the Inca.
Cartography, algebra, optics, astronomy. It's a time of discovery and exploration.
Yes.
But discoveries are not made solely by traders and adventurers. Those who explore with ships and caravans would go in circles without those who explore.
This is where Bruno, like, I kind of. I don't know how you felt about it, but like I kind of want to see what 9 stars feels like rather than 8 with Together We Rule. I don't know if you have a way to modify that. That might be something that is impossible. But if you're playing with Together We Rule, you will have easier access to more stars anyway. And so having a requirement for more stars sounds like it would make sense. But I think it would also just like produce better behaviors for a meaningful number of players, including the AI, to have a requirement for 9 stars with Together We Rule on rather than 8. I don't know if you've thought or felt about that at all, but this is like kind of where I am in regards to having played VIP, is that I think that is a good change that you have made that I kind of want to see even more of, just to see how it behaves in practice. What? Why are you attacking me? I'm trying to attack you. You're just literal levies here. You're dead. I'm not even waiting for reinforcement or for siege projects. You're just gone. Sweet, you got another city. We did it. So smart. Okay, I mean, if you can't change it based on DLC, then I guess I could see 8 as being like the fair compromise, but like I feel like with the Together We Rule DLC, I think probably 9 is correct. I don't know how to fix that though, because if you have like way too high a star requirement, then it really does kind of make all the other things going on in the game unimportant, and you just focus on pure widgets, right? If you had to get every single star to make the advancement to the next era, then like the draft system and the fame system and all that stuff just wouldn't work. It wouldn't produce a game. It would just reinforce like what normally happens in most 4Xs, which is where getting widgets is just good for you. So like, it's a complicated problem to solve is basically what I'm trying to say. Alright, run. Give me war support. We're just gonna farm up a bunch of war support and then declare war on purple again as quickly as I feel like we can reasonably do. That'll be pretty good. $60, yeah, that's fine. Just gonna paint that map. Not a complicated man. If we can make the entire continent our color, then it's pretty hard to not lose. You see, I feel like 14 is probably too many, like almost certainly too many. I'd wanna see the exact behaviors and math produced for like multiplayer people, but like I think broadly speaking, if you make that number way too high, then it's just hostile in terms of the design. Terrace farms, I guess probably could have built this one if we're going to be building this one. Well, let's let this one exploit first, and then we'll see what economic setup makes sense. Yep, there's some hamlets. There are some hamlets. Asware has so much stability already from stability costs from attached territories. So yeah, you can't really add any more. You easily can add more though. Here's a 20. Okay, yeah. Let's get a terrace farm here. That will increase in cost if we attach this, so we could wait one more turn to attach. Like, wait for almost all of this, and then we'll buy it out next turn. Or we could attach here. I think Knock is going to want to attach that, actually. 18 and 9. Oh, right, expert policy. Let's fix up all our jobs. That makes sense. Because we don't really need extra cash boys if we're not using them. So I think we have our cash like more or less fixed at the moment. These guys down south are obviously having a couple of issues, but as they get incorporated further and further into our growing Tetsuo blob, I think those problems will disappear. And I think we also need to probably build some boats. So I think we need to research some boats, because I wanna explore the rest of these continents and see what else is going on in the map, at the same time that we're trying to eat everybody. That seems like a responsible use of my resources. Wow, it is like exploding out there. I hope my windows are up in my car, but if they're not, then they're not. If I have to get my car, if I have to rinse the inside of my car with the rain, then I've done that before. It is an observed behavior for Walker. 185. None of those look that exciting. Maybe we build library. Yeah, those still kind of suck. So this could give us a lot more jobs here, which is pretty good. How far are we from claiming Machu Picchu? Oh. Nowhere. We can claim Machu Picchu right now. Alright. Well, Machu Picchu. I guess you're participating in the game now, Machu Picchu. I hope that you're happy with the things that you're about to do to the world's economy, because I'm gonna be pretty happy about it. Yeah, let's go here. Let's go there. Finish that terrace farm next turn. 18 and 9. I guess that's okay. Yeah, I guess that's okay. A lot of these are going to be things that we might want to buy out with cash next turn to finish off in like 1 turn instead of 4 or whatever, but that's good. I like doing that. So you're not really getting the max value out of the hamlet-like structure here, but I guess we will probably want to attach one of these to Macumba anyway. So we'll use Knock to attach this, and then Macumba to attach Honor, I guess, is the plan. And then we'll just have a bunch of unnecessary stability in the city. Yeah, I think that's the plan. We'll just have a bunch of unnecessary stability in that city. Okay, so we could go with monoculturalism or multiculturalism. So that's getting into combat strength on unit or food growth on stuff. We're gonna have a couple of different plazas that we've conquered, and we already have Machu in works. So I'm gonna go ahead and go for the food here. Again, I don't think we've built a single literal farmers quarter, and I'm pretty sure we're not using any like real amount of farmers, but if you can get food from less expensive things, that's pretty good. That will give you an advantage. If you can get food that does not cost you your industry, or you know, does not cost industry without giving you stuff back, that's a place to be. I guess we can trade here, right? Yeah, let's just trade. We have the cash. We could even pick up paper. 1 science per research. I don't know. That's gonna be like 10 science or something. But I guess that's worth a little bit of gold. We have it, so yeah, let's pick it up anyway. And then I don't know if we want or need the horses here yet, so I'm not gonna bother. We'll come back for those horses later if we need them. Boom. Yeah, we have a bunch of emblematic quarters that are farms. I haven't built any like normal farms, which I think are pretty bad, but like that you can get other ones. You can get them in different ways, right? And if we're building a bunch of like better farms that are not these guys, then I'm pretty happy. Especially if they're ones that also generate like widgets that I'm excited to have rather than widgets that I feel compelled to have. So you're attached. You've got enough to attach this. We'll buy you out. Okay, so now we're at 6 turns on Machu. We get to 5. There's 4. There's a 13-6. Attached for 0 gold as an Inca ability. I mean, that's pretty cool, but like, I don't know if I'm getting enough out of that. I might be. I'm not honestly sure, right? I think I am gonna take another harbor over here though, because we have the Bandar there already. So it just gets us even more potential stability out of this nasty. Eh, silly. Do I want to buy rush this before attaching? Yeah, all right, I'll buy rush that. That's a lot of widgets. I'll buy rush a lot of widgets, and then we can attach this. And then can we get that to 4 or to 3? I want to get the Machu Picchu done in 3, so that way all these cities will just get 1 million pops pretty quickly. There's 3. Alright, cool. Yeah, let's save the rest of the cash for upgrading our heavy infantry, so that way we're not trying to conquer people with swordsmen on turn 50. That's really what it boils down to. Do not attempt to conquer players with swordsmen on turn 50. Your army will be obliterated, and you will feel very dumb for it, I'm sure. I don't know exactly where their pacing is going to be if you're not doing manuals against the map, and that is a meaningful amount of difference in terms of real growth, but having played the game enough, I feel pretty confident about that. Sick flute tunes. Absolutely sick flute tunes. I mean, we could take criminal slaves. Like, we have the ability to move around in here. It's not going to take us out of the Liberty track. So yeah, let's do that. We're still here, right? Yeah, we're still there. I don't know how many commons quarters we're going to end up with in the mid and late game, but we're going to end up with a reasonable amount. Okay, so you... Oh, god damn it, Walker. The thing was right here. Like, yeah, it's right there. All right, we'll go north and see how many cities there are under the fog of war over there. But it looks like there's 1 million under the fog of war over there. So there's probably going to be enough cities that we're going to have to merge some of these with military architecture. But that's all right. I don't hate that. If we have to use a thing that is in the game, I think that's all right. I think that's a-okay. Oh, maybe we should chop this. Yeah, let's chop this. That'll float 160 to Nemosos, which is gonna mostly just be burned on Machu, but that's okay. Oh, wait, actually, we can build this, chop it out with this plus a buy rush, and then be effectively at the same place in terms of producing Machu. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Alright, knock... Oh, wait. Yeah, knock, build a pottery workshop. We'll just buy that, actually. And then we'll also add another envoy for potentially farming stars here. And Aswar is doing okay on stability. Same with you. Kennedy has, like, overflow stability. We're gonna have to fix that pretty quickly by picking up some of these extra tiles. Having just straight 100 stability is triggering for me. We could have 90 and still be getting all the cool good bonuses here, I think. Conquered empires. Not a high priority for me yet. I want to research nationhood, and then we can do crazy stuff here with this. The unknown choice of extra science for common quarters on research quarters isn't going to explode our research this turn, but it would be something that would be really helpful in, like, maybe another 20 or 30 turns. The Bulgarians have made an agreement with us, or proposed an agreement with us.
You have my ear.
Yeah, all right, sure, whatever. I'm not aiming to kill all of the AI in this game. I don't think we're going to need to. I think if we kill purple, I think we can just go to space after that, and that'll make me feel like a good person. It'll make me feel like I'm helping this little world of humankind. And I suspect pretty strongly that that's where the vast majority of players are in regards to 4Xs. I think most of them probably are not people who want to be forced to conquer the planet every single time. I don't know. Maybe we want to pick centralized power first, actually, and then come back for architecture. Because right now we could be merging these cities together, but we haven't conquered them yet, so merging them doesn't do anything. And our army just got locked by that merc stack that ran into us. So that seems okay. That seems alright. Alright, cool. Well, I know you heard that one. I don't see how you couldn't have. Good lord. The sky is exploding, Bruno. I told you to stop cursing me. I feel like you don't respect my wishes to not curse me with your witchcraft. You should take responsibility for that, Bruno. Okay, let's see. Yes, we need some of this. We need some freaking boats. Yeah, all right. Make me run away. You're mean, but it's the way it is. Knock can grow pretty quickly if we do this. Yeah, that seems alright. I thought there wasn't there one that I was supposed to buy rush this turn? I wish that this button would only go to cities rather than like back and forth to all these little guys that I'm not using. That's okay, Bruno. I think my time has come to as well, given how angry the sky is getting here. But I think realistically, this does look like a run that I'll feel kind of foolish if we don't end up winning on our next stream. So I think we're probably only gonna end up taking a handful more turns here, and then I think I want to bounce just so that way I don't have a stream that gets interrupted in the middle because my power goes out again. So yeah, see, man, I'll catch you. I'm gonna be streaming probably again on Wednesday is the plan. 'Cause I want to get this done. I want to play some Humankind. This game is really sweet. It is not done, but it is really sweet. Yeah, that looks okay. Agrarian Star unlocked. Here's our envoy that we can use for point farming. And potentially even we could try to renounce some grievances to get some widgets, but I don't know. I like using my grievances to declare war on people. Call me dumb. That is what I like to do. I like to fight people whenever I can because it makes me feel alive. It makes me feel like I'm part of humankind. Yes, I know, Susie. I know you're furious. I apologize. I will attempt to deal with you in very short order, my love. But for now, you're just gonna have to wait while we position probably the conquest of Kirtan, and then Neapolis is gonna disappear in 12 turns. So maybe we won't even bother conquering Neapolis. I don't know. But we're definitely conquering this stuff, and then we're just gonna finish purple off. If the other free city just disappears on its own, then I don't need to worry about it. Oh, but if we're gonna wage another war against purple, we are gonna need a south army to just strike here while we strike there. That's okay. We can. Our economy is big enough that we can definitely support more units. Okay, and Machu Picchu is down next turn, which is gonna give all these cities 1 billion food, and then we should have 1 billion growth. That should be all right. Yeah, I like that. I like having all that growth so that these cities can participate in our global economy better. Oh crap! This needs stability, like yesterday. Oh, that's a fixable problem. No, not like that. I wish there were a function where I could tell the auto place, I'm not like to overwrite tiles or not. It is almost never worth it outside of like special emblem. Oh my god. Well, yeah, it is almost never worth it to overwrite emblematic quarters, or to overwrite quarters with things. I guess we could go with forfeiture, blood or gold. We're already here at this end of the track. I don't really want to go down to 5%, and our stability really is fine. So yeah, I'm gonna take some more money. And then I think I'm gonna click this through to end turn, and then I think I'm probably gonna pause the stream here, everybody, with a Machu Picchu. just because like it does sound like I am probably going to lose power in the near to immediate future. But we're gonna save this save file, and we will be picking this up on Wednesday. And I honestly don't see how we won't finish, because we're more than halfway through. So look forward to that in a couple of days here on We Play Games. All right.